Winona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison and streamers everywhere. I'm Jesse Nelson. Sports Center brought to you by Ho Chunk Gaming Madison, home of smoke-free slots and the highest payout percentage in the area. Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. More spins, more wins, more fun. The Milwaukee Brewers, after a day off, back at it as their road trip continues, going from Miami to Detroit. Quite the contrast in the month of April. Visiting the Detroit Tigers for a 3-game set. First pitch this evening, 5:40 Central Time. Pre-game coverage starts about 5:05 here on Madison's home of the Brewers, 100.5 ESPN. Fans of Jim, Matt, and Molly want to catch the second hour of the show? You can do so streaming exclusively on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. More baseball tonight about the same time on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania High School Baseball. Middleton and Madison East. Coverage starts at 4:45 with first pitch at 5 o'clock on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. Riley Yauk and the Dean Dennis Semrau have the call this afternoon. And, of course, it's NFL Draft Week, just a couple of days away from round one kicking off in Pittsburgh. Bryan Bulaga in is the cousin sub of the day for Tausch. Wilde and Tausch starts now.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
It is the Tuesday edition. The getting used to my new surroundings. I don't know what the rules are, if I'm allowed to say where I am. If you remember last year, there were some times where I was at a location close to a stadium, football stadium. So I'll say that again, edition. The NFL Draft Week continues Thursday nights. Round one, which the Packers will not be participating in, edition. And maybe without Tausch on the program, we'll get to some of the position-by-position previews I've been putting together. But probably not, edition. And oh, by the way, Goody talks today. So Mr. Iowa and Mr. Agitator about Iowa get to spend a little quality time together, edition of Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 100.5 ESPN Madison, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, ESPNWisconsin.com, the ESPN app, your Alexa smart speaker, streaming live video, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and of course, everything you need on the amazing, stupendous, fantastic, incredible ESPN Wisconsin app, which you can find both in the Apple and Android app stores. I'm Jace Wilde in Green Bay. Jesse Nelson is in the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios. And from his undisclosed Florida location, he is our famous friend. He is our cousin sub of the day, cousin subs. We believe in better. He is Bryan Bulaga, Iowa. Bryan, good morning. How are you today?
I'm good. How are we doing?
If for those that recall my previous office at the local football stadium, there was a lot of stuff in it. There's nothing in here. We've moved to a different location, and I'm out of sorts. But I'm glad you're here because we're going to get into plenty of draft prep as we head into Thursday night, where the Packers do not have a pick, and then Friday night when they will pick 52nd. That'll be their first pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. Also, I thought of you immediately today when I was on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy without Jen, because she's working with the draft this week as well. Packers' offensive line is not highly regarded, which I think you already knew, and you had your own opinion on and your concerns about. But I think that is something that we will be addressing through the course of today's program. All right. Evan Cohen is scheduled to appear with us at 9:30.
You got like a lamp or something you can put in the office? Like, what can you do to spice that thing up?
Am I not bright enough for you? Or?
It's just a very plain white wall. Like, when you're at home, you got all the bobbleheads and all the pictures and hats and things. And your old office, you had like a newspaper framed thing. Like, this just looks kind of boring. True. Like, you got to, can you paint?
No. In fact, they sent out a fairly lengthy set of rules for us. And again, I'd be lying if I said that I didn't feel seen by them, because I think they were largely directed at me. You can't hang anything on the walls without permission. You can't have your own refrigerator. There's a number of there's a kitchenette where people share. And look, the truth of the matter is, and Brian, you and I are a little bit similar in this, like in our lifetimes, we never really worked in offices before. So like, I've never had to share a kitchenette with anyone other than my family. Same with you, with Abby and the kids. And so like, do I trust people to put my lunch in the refrigerator and not worry that one of my colleagues are going to steal my sandwich? Like, these are all things that I've never worried about before, and I'm a little bit out of sorts because of. But you're right, Jesse. It does not feel like home. It feels like, I don't know what prison feels like, so I'm not going to make that comparison. But it feels like I'm in an interrogation room, like out of an episode of Law. Like I'm waiting for Lenny Briscoe to ask me where I was on Friday at 3:30.
So they gave you guys new digs.
So they did. So they're doing some. And again, I know that there are other entities that I'm not. This is trying to walk the line of explaining my circumstances without discussing where I am necessarily.
From an undisclosed football stadium.
Indeed, yes, exactly. So there were offices in the old setup. And I was in mine for I think Lambeau, the new Lambeau, the redeveloped Lambeau opened in 2003, I think. So I would have been in there for 23 years. So that's a lot of stuff to accumulate. So it took a while to empty it out, but I got everything out, much to the surprise of your buddy Jason Whalers. And so I had a lot of stuff in there, and the tour would come by. And people would look at the bobbleheads and the stuff I had hanging on the walls. It was like a miniature, sports memorabilia museum. Not as nice as the actual bobblehead Hall of Fame, but it had its charm. And now, like, I've got a bulletin board, which is not even a push pin one. You got to use magnets, so I don't even know how well those will hold up. But again, I'm thankful for the workspace, because otherwise I would be doing this in a room full of other people, and I can only imagine how annoying it would be to listen to half of a radio show because they wouldn't be able to hear you with my headphones in. So I'm very appreciative of the digs. I'm just struggling to adjust.
Yeah.
I'm a creature of habit. Are you, like, do you handle change well? I don't handle change well.
No, I'm not a big change guy. I like things the way they've been going for a consistent period of time. So, yeah, I would say after 23 years, I could see how that kind of throws a wrench in the old routine for you, which wouldn't go well with me, in my opinion. And then, like, they send out they put out sets of rules for you. No hanging without permission. Like what are you guys 10 years old asking your parents if you could hang something in your room? Like what's going on there?
That is exactly what it reminded me of. And I will say this, I'm sure that was directed at me because I don't know if anybody else actually hung anything on their walls.
So what if
I
you
think it was
do?
just for
Like,
me.
what's the penalty? They're going to kick you out or give you a
It's a great
slap on-
question.
Like, what if you do hang something?
That's a great question. Also, now you have to interact with someone at the front desk of the administration offices. So, like before, we had one of those scan cards that you could walk right in and at any time during the day. I'm not that I don't like people. I like people, but again, I'm not accustomed to the small talk and explaining who I am. She had no idea who I was, which is fine. I don't want people to know who I am. I just want to get to my office. So I'm a little bit out of sorts, so I'm glad you're here. And I'm glad you're also a not a change agent. Jesse seems to me like he likes things different.
I'm pretty
He likes
nimble.
to change things
I
up.
actually like remodeling the living room or the base, like moving stuff around. When I had my apartment, I would do that when I was just living by myself. I'd move stuff around every 6 months or so, like just to change it up. Like put the TV in a different spot, add it up above the fireplace, and then I move it down below. Like what?
Why?
It's
Why?
fun. It keeps you on your toes a little bit. Oh, I get to try something new, and let's see what this setup feels like. And it might work, it might not, but you give it a go. It's fun. People come over, they're like, "Oh, this looks a little different. I like this."
Trip over the ottoman that they weren't expecting to be there.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that just sounds like a lot of work. It's just work. Moving furniture,
It doesn't-
moving TVs.
I think another thing, you got a rug or you got a floor where if the same things are on top, if the couch is in the same spot on the rug, the rug or the floor gets worn under or around it, and then it stays clean, and so it keeps everything kind of fresher a little bit. It's a nice thing to do to move stuff around.
There's Stanley Steamer. Have them come in, clean, do their deal. They're very good at it. We just had that done. Because I don't move furniture every 6 months, yes, there's a rug down and it needed to be cleaned with the kids and the dog. So, yeah, but to move it every 6 months, I mean, if Abby said, I want to move this every 6 months, I'd be like, all right, well, you're going to be on your own with that because I'm leaving. I got to go. I got to get out of the house. I can't be here for it.
It's hard to believe you two don't get along, you and Jesse.
Yeah, a guest bedroom.
You see the world completely differently.
Move the bed around sometime, put it in the corner one day, and then, a year later, you move it to the middle of the room. It's nice to freshen it up a little bit. You get guests staying over. Oh, this is a little different than last time. It's cool.
No, guests are happy that they have a bedroom. Guests are happy that they have a bedroom to stay in with a bed in it. That's what it comes down to. Where it is in the room does not really matter at all. They're not there for the decor. I mean, I don't understand, Jesse. I'm so confused on what are you trying to make it like a 5-star hotel for people? I want them to go eventually. I want them to leave. It's not a.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying come over all the time. You got friends who come up once a year. They come up for a Badger football weekend, go to the the room looks a little different this time. Oh, is that a new
Are they spending
nightstand?
time in the room? Are they spending tons of time in the room?
I mean, they're sleeping in it. It's their room for the week. It's like how much time you spend in a hotel when you go to a hotel. But it's a nice hotel.
You're making my point for me. So why put all that effort into moving furniture around when they're not even in there? They put their bags down, they walk out of the room, and then they go to sleep in the bed, and then they wake up and they get out of the room. I'm so confused. I don't. I'm lost. I'm lost with your.
This doesn't bode well for when it's going to be him and I stranded here when you're attending a general manager's press conference later, Jason. I don't think this is
an undisclosed general manager. Yeah. So today, Brian Gutekunst is scheduled to speak with reporters at 11 o'clock in the brand new Lambeau Field media auditorium, which is the old players' meeting room, which I thought was interesting. The team meeting room, which I had seen and I had been in way back in the day, back when you were early in your career, and McCarthy did that trick in 2010 with the empty frame of all the framed championship teams, and then yours. And I think, if I remember correctly, there were these black kind of pseudo comfy chairs with the desks that popped up. Yes, no?
Yep.
Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah, they upgraded the chairs a little bit later on, but they were, to start when I first got there, they were pretty just like basic folding, like fold down chairs. And we'll just say, when you got a lot of 300-pound plus guys sitting in them over time, they get a little wore out. They don't stay as plush as they were when they were initially installed.
Sounds like you might want to move those cushions around a little bit, so it's not the same people.
I'm not 300 pounds anymore, Jesse. I'm normal weight. So thank you for the dig of pastime of mine. How I used to be. But I'm no longer 300 pounds, so I don't have to move the cushions around anymore. I don't have to buy a new bed every 3-4 years because 300 pounds is just depressing on one side of the bed anymore. But thank you, Jesse, for reminding me of how difficult it was to be 300 plus pounds. Thank you.
Okay, maybe I'll come back. I will run back from the press conference when Goody is done speaking. He is scheduled to speak at 11 a.m. Central Time. For Jesse, who likes to tell people when things happen on Eastern Time, that would be noon Eastern Time for folks like Bryan Bulaga. So I want to talk a little bit about what Brian thinks we need to get to with Goody today. I also want to get into some of the positions of need for the Packers, and I want to spend some time on the offensive line because Mike Clay, who does a ton of film work. I think he was at Pro Football Focus for a while. He's at ESPN now. He posted the composite rankings of the NFL's offensive lines. Your old group, not great. Yeah. Not great at all. So we'll talk about that coming up as we get ready for Evan Cohen to join us from Unsportsmanlike. Bryan Bulaga is our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs. We believe in better. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
All day, every day, the Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
Vortex Golf makes rangefinders for serious golfers who need an accurate number every time. With 3 options, the Blade, Blade Slope, and Anarch, there's a Vortex rangefinder that fits your game. Crystal clear optics and features like image stabilization keep you steady in big moments. Plus, every Vortex Golf product is backed by a no-questions-asked lifetime warranty. If you're looking for an accurate number every time, Vortex Golf belongs on your bag. Grab yours and everything you need for golf season in Wisconsin at Shields.com.
Sure, you've got school spirit, but does your jewelry box?
At Chalmers Jewelers, we're proud to be an official retailer of University of Wisconsin jewelry.
Featuring the iconic Motion W, Bucky Badger, and more.
Prices start at just $65.
Whether you're tailgating, jumping around, or shouting on Wisconsin, let your jewelry join the celebration because even Bucky loves a little bling.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison.
Molly Brown here, and it's time for spring savings at Metro Kia of Madison. Get into a 2026 Kia Sorento with 0% APR for 48 months. That's just $20.83 per $1,000 financed. Plus, drive with confidence backed by Metro Kia's 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Don't wait, these offers end May 4th, 2026. Head to Metro Kia of Madison on the east side or visit metrokiaofmadison.com and drive home your new Kia today.
Hey, sports fans, the ESPN app has all of ESPN all in one place. The ESPN app is your home to thousands of live events, ESPN shows, and originals across every ESPN network in service. And now you can check if you already have ESPN Unlimited as part of your TV package for no additional cost. Visit activate.espn.com to learn how to access your account or sign up, then start streaming in the ESPN app. It's all of ESPN all in one place. Sign up or activate now.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting ESPNWisconsinContests.com.
That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com.
Your family's safety is your responsibility, and it starts with a solid roof. When the next storm rips through and takes some of your shingles with it, call Badgerland Exteriors. Or looking to replace your whole roof but don't want to break the bank? Let the team at Badgerland Exteriors give you a free, no obligations estimate.
AJ with Badgerland Exteriors here. Contracting made easy is more than a tagline. It's how we run our family business. Visit BadgerlandExteriors.com to get started on your next project. That's BadgerlandExteriors.com.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN.
Getting ready for the 2026 NFL Draft and getting ready for Brian Gutekunst to speak with reporters in advance of Thursday's first round, which the Packers do not have a selection in. Their first pick is at number 52 as of now in the second round. They have 8 total picks as of now. We will see where they are at if they make some trades back and accumulate more picks. Last year they went into the draft with 8 picks, and they exited the draft with 8 picks, tied for the fewest picks of Brian Gutekunst's tenure. The graphic that I sent you from Mike Clay is going to take you a while to digest, Brian. It's a lot of numbers, a lot of teams. Basically what he did was he took the presumed starting 5 of each of the 32 teams, ranked them, and then came up with a composite score. We'll talk about that after we talk with Evan Cohen, because it's a lot of numbers. Like it took me a while. Had to do a lot of zooming in. So let's instead of zooming in, let's zoom out to the bigger picture of where this Packers team is at as the draft approaches. Because as I've been saying throughout the week, and I think I said this to you last week on the Homer Hour, like I'm going through position by position previews on Channel 3000, and I'll tell you what, man, there's needs at every single position. I finally got to a position where I didn't think they had a clear need. Safety. And the only position group I have left are specialists. So, and you could argue that we're not quite sure about the kicking situation, but at least they have 2 candidates that are on the roster. So when you look at this team and try to figure out what their greatest needs are, what are your top 3 or your, quite frankly, top 5 or maybe even top 7 or 8, given how many needs they have? What are the ones that spring to mind first for you, Brian?
I think it's the secondary and the DBs, right? Like, I think that's issue number 1. I mean, you look at who's currently on the roster and you look at the depth chart, and it's very thin. I mean, it's extremely thin. And To me, that's concerning because listen, like it's not that like guys can't step up and play well. That's not what I'm saying. But I normally feel a lot better when there's proven players that have played meaningful snaps in the NFL that are on that roster or in that position group that are your anchor guys, and then you fill it with maybe a free agent or maybe a couple draft picks, and they get to kind of learn the ropes from those guys, and then if they have to go in for some reason, they're ready to roll, right? Like that's kind of the way I feel about that, and it's the same reason why number 2 for me is offensive line. That's almost the exact same reason why the O-line is. You see the starting 5, right? And we'll get into the rankings you sent me. But regardless of what you think of them, there's your starting. Like you have at least a starter for every position. But after that, the depth of that group is very thin, and the competition for that group is very thin. We'll put it that way. There's really, as of right now, if training camp were to start today, I don't think anyone's pushing anyone for a spot. There's no camp battle. There's nobody looking over their shoulder thinking, "Hey, if I don't perform well in camp, I'm losing this gig by week 1." And that's something that I feel like you always need in training camp, is especially in that group. It's not the same as all the other groups. I feel like it's a little bit different. The offensive line group is obviously very tight knit. A lot like everyone's friends for the most part in my experience. But there's normally always some competition for a spot or two, or there is the actual perception of that, right? Whether you know it or not, right? Whether it's an open challenge, which sometimes there is, or if you kind of catch it through the grapevine that upstairs is looking at this position as a competition spot, right? Like you normally figure that out through the first week of camp based on reps, who's taking what, and you kind of get the feel that, hey man, this is competition. There's none of that as of right now going into camp. There's not. Because who are you going to put in instead of the guys that are already there? Based on who's on the depth chart? No one. Nobody.
Right.
So for me, that's a problem. Third would be edge rusher. That's a very thin position as well. I mean, obviously, you get Micah Parsons back. When? I don't know. But even when he does get back, he will not be taking the workload that he took before he got hurt. He will be eased back in just like any other. I mean, offensive linemen don't get eased back in when they tear their ACLs and come back. You play the whole game. That's the way it goes. But other position groups get eased back in, and they're on a rep count and things like that, and the workload increases because you don't want something to pop up that their body's not used to, so they get eased back into action. And that's going to be the same case for Mike. It's no different, even if he feels 1,000,000%. And that's without any issues popping up in that group until Micah gets back, right? No injuries, nothing. It's already a very shorthanded group, in my opinion, which is a problem. Then look no further than right inside next to those guys, the interior part of that. You have Wyatt, you got Hargrave, which, hey, I think those two players are good football players. I really do. I like both of them. But normally you like to be 3, maybe 4. Not saying the 2 backup guys need to be those of that quality, right? Of those 2 players, but you normally like someone that can come in and do a similar job. It's not going to be as good. I'm not asking for that because that's very hard to do in the NFL. Is bring in backup that's just as good as the starters. I'm not saying, but right now there's no proven guys behind them. that can fill that role. And we don't even know what this defensive front's going to look like yet. We have no idea what the structure is and how these guys fit into that. So, like, that's another thing on my mind that I'm thinking about. Like, okay, well, if we play 3 down, who's going to be the nose? I mean, and if our nose needs a break, who's going to be the replacement nose? Because we all know in that scheme, if you don't have a nose tackle and he's just getting absolutely worked off the ball, that's the middle of the defense, and you're going to get gashed up the middle, like you just are. So that's a concern of mine. Then I look around, and then I probably say the tight end group. You have Tucker Kraft. Love Tucker Kraft. Going to get paid probably going to be, if not the second, maybe the first highest paid tight end in the league fairly soon. I would, if I had to take a guess. But he's also working back from an injury. He's also coming back from an injury, and if you want to run, 2 tight end sets, you need to have another guy. And currently, like, they just whatever you want to think about Musgrave or right, he's gotten more responsibility over the last few years, and it just hasn't gone according to plan. Right? Like, we'll just say that. We'll just say it hasn't gone according to plan or what they thought it would be. So that's another group that is very thin. If you and I'm not saying Tucker Kraft, but if something happens to one of the backup guys, the depth is super thin. Then it's like,
right. They played John Fitzpatrick more than they played Musgrave last year, and then he ruptures his Achilles, and I think he's a free agent too. So he's not part of the mix. Josh Wiley played some last year, but I think what we're getting to, Brian, is the good news is they can draft the best player available because they basically have needs at every position, which you don't expect to say about a team that you also view as a Super Bowl contender. And I get it. And you made a really good point. Like, every team has depth issues. No one has 22 starters and then 22 backups who are all starters in, like, Joe Barry used to call them starters in waiting. No, there are guys that are backups. Now, there may be some that like you were a starter in waiting in 2010. You didn't know you were going to be doing it in, like, game 4. But there are other guys that they are backups. And ideally, you don't want them to have to play. And I think the fewer of those that you have, right, the better chance you have when injuries strike. But right now, and again, I get it. Lots of teams have depth issues. But, like, when I look at the offensive line, like, they don't have a single backup that you say, well, this guy's done it before. We know what he is. Donovan Jennings, Darian Kennard, every time they needed him to fill in, then they wanted to find somebody else to fill in instead if the guy that he was filling in for wasn't available the next week. They re-signed him. Maybe they have more faith in him now. But again, I look at each position and I just see a lot of question marks that, unless they have, and I always bring up your 2014 team, unless they have that kind of good fortune where you missed one game and you were the one offensive lineman and all you missed was one game. Jesse doesn't appreciate how hard it was for you to come back from an MCL after only one game, but that's fine. But you guys, you had to move Clay Matthews to middle linebacker because you lost. Who'd you lose? That was the middle linebacker at the time. You had to make that one move. That was the one move you had to make. Other than that, though, you guys, and your defense was damn good in the second half of the season because you were healthy and because your offensive line stayed together. Your offense was good, and you were able to play a guy with a torn calf and have him be effective despite that injury. All right, we need to get to Evan Cohen of Unsportsmanlike. We'll get into the offensive line a little bit later in the show, and then we'll get ready to talk to Brian Gutekunst, who is scheduled to speak with reporters at 11 a.m. Central Time as we get ready for the NFL Draft. The draft was here last year, so that was an escape for a lot of people. For me, I was a little nervous about where I was going to park. But hey, you don't have to hop on a plane or board a cruise ship to feel like you've escaped. Your next getaway is waiting in Milwaukee at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Start with the stay. Biggest hotel rooms in Milwaukee, nearly 500 beautifully designed rooms and luxury suites that are perfect for a weekend reset, a date night, or celebrating something big. And you're just steps away from all the cool stuff that's happening inside. And if you're hungry, you've got so many options. From premium steaks at the Dream Dance Steakhouse to pizza, burritos, and quick bites at the Marketplace, Rock and Brews for that high-energy vibe, the Canal Street Cafe, Ruyi Asian Kitchen, Cream City Coffee Company. There's just food and drink specials happening all the time. And if you're planning a wedding, a birthday, or an anniversary, their event spaces are built to make it unforgettable. Sophisticated relaxation, incredible flavor, and a full night out all in one place. Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Evan Cohen joins us next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
We're on the Badgers.
The bottom line on it is you're going into a monster season.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
And now there's more change, more things that aren't stable than there ever has been before.
This is 100.5 ESPN.
Mark Tosher here. People ask, why did I join UW Credit Union? Well, let's break it down. Convenient local branches, easy to use mobile banking app, rewards checking with early payday, and that beautiful Bucky debit card. Also, they've been serving Wisconsin since 1931, which means they have local expertise that's actually local. So stop by a branch or visit uwcu.org to join today and become a UW Credit Union member like I did. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
The sound of summaries on ESPN Madison.
Mizorowski, the pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Madison's home of the Brewers.
To high drive. Fair and gone.
Catch every Milwaukee Brewers game this season on 100.5 ESPN.
Watching it sail. It's a grand slam.
Brewers baseball on ESPN Madison is presented by Hard Rock Casino Rockford and brought to you by North and South Seafood and Smokehouse.
Wisconsin weather doesn't ease into spring. It keeps you guessing. That's why your windows and doors need to handle everything. At Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, we build for year-round comfort. Now get 0% interest until 2030. That's years of no interest, so you can upgrade now and pay over time. Plus, enjoy a free in-home consultation, expert installation, and a 10-year limited warranty. But order by April 30th. Schedule today at PellaWI.com.
Game day in my house is everything. I get out of class, I grab my gear, and get to the game because I can't wait. And my dad, he does the same thing. He's an official here in Wisconsin. He makes the tough calls, stays cool under pressure, and knows ball like nobody else. I want to be just like him. You can too. Sign up at highschoolofficials.com.
Some of the nation's top pitmasters are coming to Paoli this fall for the Sugar River Fire and Smoke Barbecue Festival. Featuring legendary pitmaster Rodney Scott from Netflix's Chef's Table, Michelle Wallace from Bravo's Top Chef Wisconsin, and Allie Clem, the first woman pitmaster to earn a Michelin star. Plus your favorite local barbecue masters, live music, and mouth-watering demos from the area's top chefs and restaurants. September 19th and 20th in Paoli. Tickets are on sale now at fireandsmokebarbecufestival.com.
The high school baseball season is heating up on Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prepmania. This week we head to Warner Park as the Madison East Pergolders play host to the Middleton Cardinals. East is searching for their first win in conference play while Middleton tries to establish itself as a team to beat in the Big 8. Myself, Riley Yauk, and the Dean, Dennis Semrau, have the call. First pitch is slated for 5 p.m. with pregame coverage beginning at 4:45 on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Want to move better, play faster, and compete at a higher level? Train where Wisconsin's top athletes go. Total Athlete Performance. From middle school phenoms to the pros, TAP is Madison's #1 destination for speed, power, and athleticism. Their proven systems, expert coaches, and cutting-edge equipment help you dominate your sport. Can't make it in? Train anywhere with the TAP mobile app. Spots are filling fast, so don't wait. Visit tapwisconsin.com to schedule your free athletic assessment today.
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison is throwing a block party that lasts all month long, and you're on the guest list. Sing for your chance to win one of the five $500 cash prizes given out every Friday in April during our Cash Karaoke. Then on Saturday, April 25th, one grand prize winner will take home $20,000 in cash, while 32 other winners will each receive $1,000. That's $52,000 in cash prizes in our block party finale. It's your time to party. Join the celebration all month at
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison.
Evan Cohen on Wilde and Tausch is brought to you by Horicon Bank, serving their clients with faster decisions, smarter financing, and bankers who get your business. Horicon Bank, doing good for 130 years.
Joining us now on the Yuengling guest hotline. Yuengling, the oldest brewery in America, now in Wisconsin. 6 generations, family owned and operated. DJ Yuengling and Son, Pottsville, PA. Enjoy responsibly. It is Evan Cohen of Unsportsmanlike. Evan, good morning. How are you?
Jason, Brian, Jesse, how are you guys?
Good. Let's just get into it. Yesterday, Tausch got after you pretty good, and then today he's not here, conveniently. But I don't know, maybe he just didn't explain this very well, but he was trying to tell us how ridiculous of a take you had. And Jesse, let me know if I'm misrepresenting anything Tausch said yesterday, because I definitely don't want to end up on his bad side.
I have what Tausch said yesterday. Like a good producer, I'm ready to go if you want to hear what he said.
Like a good producer?
Yeah. You
know, no wonder I'm so shocked.
Sometimes there's some questions around here. I'm ready to go. This is Tausch from yesterday.
Do you have what Evan said, though? Because that's what a really good producer would have.
I don't even know what I said. Yes. What are we talking about?
No, I don't, but Evan's here to defend himself. So...
like a good producer.
Well, how am I supposed to know what Evan said if you're just going to play me what Tausch said?
Because Evan's here. You can ask him, Blue. Here's...
he just
I don't even know what you're referring to.
All right.
Yeah, he just said he doesn't know what he said.
Time out. Yesterday...
Yeah.
Tausch and I both heard the Unsportsmanlike crew, Evan and Michelle. Canty was also off on draft week. Something about all the NFL players taking weekdays off on draft week, apparently. So there was a conversation about draft philosophy because Jeremiah Love, according to Adam Schefter's draft intel piece at ESPN.com, projected to potentially go number 3, as high as 3 to the Arizona Cardinals. And Evan, what were you and Michelle talking about yesterday morning with that potential projection of the Cardinals selecting Jeremiah Love? Would you like to fill in Bryan Bulaga?
Okay, so now, to Bulaga, now I know what they're referring to, so I can convey my take. My take is take the player's name out and even take the name of the team out. I do not believe a bad team should take a running back really at any point in the first round, but definitely in the top 5. My overall point is, let's say Seattle and Arizona 3 years ago made a trade that included Seattle getting Arizona's first-round pick in 2026. And the Seattle Seahawks had the 3rd pick in the draft this year as Super Bowl champions, and they wanted to take Jeremiah Love to replace Kenneth Walker. Fine, I could deal with that. But a bad team taking a running back in the top 5, to me, is utterly ridiculous. That was my take.
Thank you for summarizing. Brian, do you feel like you are fully up to speed now on what the commentary was from Evan yesterday?
Yeah, because a part of me really agrees with Evan on this, so I want to hear what Tausch has to say.
Plot twist, as the kids say.
Go.
Well, good luck, because here's what Tausch had to say yesterday when we discussed that on this show.
At some point, you need to start winning, and it can't just be about what's next. Like, if you have a good player in front of you, you take him and you build around him. That's why. Like, it's so easy to sit here and play fantasy football and to do all this stuff, but the concept of he's too good for us right now. How you get better, The Houston Texans a couple years ago could have said, well, we're not very good right now. Why would we draft Will Anderson? Because he becomes a stud and your defense becomes good and you win playoff games? That's why? Why would we draft why would you draft Saquon Barkley? I don't know, because he's a really good player, and I think you ended up going and winning a playoff game, and if he hadn't bungled everything else, maybe the Giants would have been. Then maybe. Oh, you shouldn't draft him. He's too good. Good players help you win. And the draft is supposed to help you get good players. So this whole concept of we're just not ready for him. Well, get ready or get out.
That is one of the worst takes I think I've ever heard, because I never, ever, ever said Jeremiah Love is too good for the Arizona Cardinals. What I simply have said is it's not a position that impacts winning. I agree, Tausch, not here today. You know what impacts winning? Other positions, like, I don't know, offensive line, which, oh, by the way, Mark Tauscher, you played. So did Bulaga, right? Edge rusher. You brought up Will Anderson. What a horrible comp. Edge rusher can impact winning more so than a running back can impact winning. Bulaga, what the hell is he talking about? What I'm saying is, if I'm Arizona and I don't have a quarterback, you know what I do? I build a team so a quarterback can walk in easily. I get 10 Brian Bulagas and Mark Tauschers. I just load up on those guys, so I have 2 lines worth of great offensive linemen. Then Jesse and Jason could run through a hole that you guys would create. What the hell is Tausch talking about?
Yeah, I mean, to compare the edge rusher to the running back is a crazy comp. It's just, I mean, Tausch is. I don't know why Tausch would have gone with the running back to the edge rusher. I mean, everyone knows. And this is today's NFL, right? This isn't the NFL of, early 2000s where the running back position was as valuable as any position because there was a ton of running the football. Today, that's just not the case. I mean, you buy edge rushers, you buy corners, and you buy offensive linemen or draft those guys to protect the quarterback because the game's in the air. Like, that's just, I get there's special talents at running back. He mentioned Saquon, obviously a very rare elite talent. I get it. But even you look at the young guy in Atlanta, Bijan Robinson, he catches the ball. Mm-hmm. That's his big thing. He's out of the backfield catching the ball, and he's very good at it.
And they've done no winning. They've done no winning.
Yes,
no winning.
Correct. And they don't win, but he puts up good numbers. So, to me, you look at Arizona, and this is what this comes down to. Arizona's got a ton of problems, right? And, you want to draft a running back? The Raiders tried to do that with Genti. Look how that went. How'd that go? Their offensive line stunk. They draft Genti. The guy could barely run for 50 yards a game. What good is that going to do for you, in my opinion? Then you don't even have a quarterback with it. So then it looks even worse. Teams can put 8 guys in the box and stop you, and then it's over. So I'll
go one step further, by the way, to your point. So just to your point, Jason, you know everything historically in the NFL. Were the Saquon Barkley Giants some juggernaut of winning? Did I miss something here?
No, they were not. And
they won that one playoff game, though.
They did. At the same time, I think maybe this was because, as Tausch loves to point out, I'm usually watching Stephanopoulos and Good Morning America in the morning, and the way he presented this, I'm wondering whether or not there is any team that is in position when you're picking in the top 10 to take a player like Love who could be, if there's a running back worth taking high, he is it, right? Just like Barkley was way back when?
Maybe. Sure, but you're positive that because you're drafted in the top 10, you're going to be the best running back? Because I'm not. I don't think that's a position that draft position would indicate success. I think the running back position, the indication of success is how good is your offensive line. So if you're asking in the top, first of all, I would never draft a running back in the top 10 personally. If you're saying to me, which team could I, Evan, justify drafting a running back in the top 10 under the premise that I would never draft a running back in the top 10, there is only one. And that one is obvious, and it's Kansas City, because that's the only one that you could make the case, could that be a finishing piece, just because Mahomes is the starting piece at all times. Now, they went out and signed the Super Bowl MVP and Kenneth Walker, so I wouldn't do that. But that's just my overall personal philosophy, and I do believe that teams are at their best when they make it easier for a quarterback to walk into a situation that is ready for them to walk into, not for them to create, right? Like, it is easier for Jordan Love to walk into Packers starting quarterback role when the offensive line ahead of him is pretty good. Not hard to figure out. Yet somehow the guy who played offensive line, and Mark Tauscher, can't figure that out.
So is running back the only position that you view as, if you are a rebuilding team, it's not worth investing in? Like, he made the comp to edge rusher, which obviously did not go over well for anyone. I'm curious, are there other, like, is wide receiver that, like, if you don't have the quarterback yet, and your offensive line isn't great, and they took Maserati Marv last year, right? The Cardinals, like
2 years ago.
So they've kind of done the Arizona Cardinals are the poster children for what you're arguing against. Although they thought they, in fairness to them, they thought they had their quarterback in Kyler Murray, to some degree anyway. I mean, they drafted him number 1 overall.
Right, but let's not make this about the Cardinals. Let's make this about, which I know you're not. I'm just saying that's the jumping off point.
Mm-hmm.
Roster composition, right? How I look at it. I am dead set that the quarterback is the only thing that matters. But the quarterback only matters when he has time to throw. So to me, let's start the Green Bay Packers roster from scratch. Let's make it into an expansion franchise. I have this year's draft. I may take 7 offensive linemen. Literally. Just say, like, if I have a great defense and no quarterback, the sport is irrelevant for that team. How do I get a great quarterback? It's not necessarily to take him immediately. It's to take him when you can put him behind an offensive line that'll protect him and you don't ruin him. So for a team that is not good, you're asking for value at the position, offensive line, followed by offensive line, followed by offensive line. And I'm not just saying this because it's Bulaga and because it's Tauscher. I'm saying it because I truly believe it.
So when you look
that's
at
the thing, I agree with that. I agree.
Go ahead, Brian.
No, I'm just saying, like, I agree. Like, you have to build a team a certain way, right? And I understand that you can't fix all the holes in one draft or whatever it may be, but if you're looking at, again, we keep referencing the Cardinals because that's how this got all swooped around, right? You could put any quarterback you want in there and draft your running back, and what's going to change for you? Nothing's going to. It's going to look. It may look worse because now you're trying to force feed this running back that you drafted 3rd overall. He's not going to be able to go anywhere, and you're going to be in every 3rd and long situation, and your quarterback's going to get sacked or pressured or hurried almost every 3rd down because your line can't block for you. And then you got the wide receiver you drafted out wide that wants the ball. Well, he can't get open in 1 second or 1.5 seconds, so he's not getting the ball. I mean, so like what Evan's saying is just it makes sense. There's a way to build a roster, and I understand, and I completely agree as well. The quarterback is the most important piece. If you don't have a quarterback, I mean, it's essentially over for you. Like that's the way it goes. Like there's no Trent Dilfers anymore where your defense can just carry you. You can turn around, hand the ball off, and you can make it work. Like that in today's NFL, like that's just not happening. It just can't happen anymore because the game is played in the air. He has to be able to throw the football. But if you don't have the guys up front to even remotely come close to giving that quarterback or that running back or that wide receiver time and space to operate, we're just talking in circles then. We really are. We're just talking about nothing for something. Like that's the way I look at it.
So then, what is your concern level?
Agree.
So let me ask you guys both this then, and Brian and I are going to get into this a little deeper, a little bit later in the program. But Mike Clay from ESPN put together his composite offensive line rankings. And what he basically did, we teased this earlier, is he took the 5 presumed starters, had grades for each of those 5 starters, and then you add it all up, and this is where your offensive line finishes. The Packers are 27th. The Houston Texans are 32nd. Those are 2 teams that were playoff teams last year that think highly of themselves. They're not expansion teams at this point in their existence, but should we be more concerned if we believe this about building a team and these 2 teams that we think are good teams have this big of questions on their offensive line? Do we need to be looking at these teams differently, Evan, based on your drafting theory, or is it different because they're established teams and at least these guys aren't rookies, they feel like they've all played football for them?
Yeah, it's a good question. I guess I look at it as like my quarterback rules that we always joke about. Pay a quarterback. Don't pay a wide receiver to make a quarterback good. Pay a quarterback to make wide receivers good, right? So last year, first round of the draft, Matthew Golden goes 1 overall. Not 1, oh my God, first round pick, to the Packers. He doesn't go 1 overall. Like for me, if there was an offensive lineman that was there that I thought would make my team better, and especially since obviously guys from last year's offensive line are no longer there this year, I would have only drafted an offensive line because I would look at it and say, well, I'm giving Jordan Love $53 million a year or whatever it is. I am now paying him to make wide receivers good. So if I have B-level receivers, it's his job to make them A-level receivers. How does he do that? Give them the most time possible. How do we give them the most time possible? Just stack up offensive linemen and not have them on the same contract relative to the rookie scale contract. Get as many guys that are good across that offensive line, and then I'm not going to necessarily pay money like I did or use draft capital to get Matthew Golden. And if Dobbs walks, fine. If I need to trade Wicks, fine. But it's fine. I could just churn it because the protection I have for my franchise quarterback allows me to spend less and invest less in wide receivers and invest more across the offensive line. So I don't know the specifics of the Packers' offensive line. I know it looks different. Jenkins not there, obviously. But, I wouldn't have used the first on Matthew Golden, no matter how many people brought up, hey, wide receiver, first round, they haven't done it in forever, and you're in Green Bay, and it's going to be fun. Cool. Give me the old boring guy from Iowa. You know what I mean? That's what I want.
Great point.
That's what I want.
No, really good argument. Evan, what are your draft plans before you talk to ESPN LA? You made the trip here last year. Are you going to Pittsburgh?
Yeah, we're going to Pittsburgh. Yeah, we're going to Pittsburgh tomorrow. Rogers will be with us on Thursday morning. No, we're doing the show there Thursday and Friday. What is going on? You two know him. What is What are we doing this again? Why does he want to do this? What is he waiting for?
I will let Brian answer after I say this one thing. I reached out to him because, as we may have mentioned on the show, we moved offices here, and I had his Wisconsin Sports Awards that he never picked up before he departed in 2022. And I texted him, sent him a picture. I didn't want to ask him if he's playing this season. I didn't say anything about Mike McCarthy. And, of course, I didn't get a response, which I know Brian is used to with him as well. So I have no idea. Brian, why is he doing this again?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because he can is the answer.
Yeah, because he can. I haven't spoken to him, but it seems like it's going to be another June, July decision is what it appears, if I had to take a guess. But anyone's guess is as good as mine at this point. I have no clue what he's thinking, what he's going to do. I wouldn't even know.
So frustrating. And the thing is, the storybook ending with McCarthy and Rodgers, right? That's
yes, you
amazing
love this.
For Packers fans. Well, here's my take. It's amazing for Packers fans. I'm not sure why it's amazing for Steelers fans.
Yeah.
It may not be.
For Steelers
I love McCarthy. I love McCarthy. He's the most underrated NFL coach probably in the last 20 years outside of Belichick. Yeah, I just called him underrated. That's a whole different topic. But anyway, point is, McCarthy's great. Great. But that reunion ties a bow on a great run in Green Bay. And if I'm a Packers fan, I kind of sit back and I'm like, you know what? Good for those guys. I'm glad they kiss and make up. I'm glad everybody's cool. It kind of retroactively makes me happy about that era. It's easy to envision him coming back to Green Bay. It's easy to envision Mike in front row. The Packers whole thing. Kind of cool. Like, we're going to find in terms of the Rodgers legacy long term. Awesome. Why does that make the Steelers good in 2026? Because they have waited for him. And I'll just tell you this. I'm not saying Ty Simpson, Alabama's going 21 to Pittsburgh, but Adam Schefter dropped a little nugget today saying that Mike McCarthy and Ty Simpson really hit it off at the Combine, and those two really do like each other. Adam said I wouldn't make too much of a big deal about that. And then afterwards I said, how am I not making a big deal about a quarterback and a coach hitting it off? That kind of seems like a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
So, and maybe that's typical Aaron, right? He's waiting to see if they draft a quarterback, and if they do, he's like, I'm not coming back. He needs to make sure that he's not in competition with anyone, maybe? I don't know. I'm reading into it obviously recklessly, but that's...
I don't even know if they drafted Ty Simpson at 21 or whatever it is overall, and he came back, there would be competition. That wouldn't be competition for him. I'm just being...
Brian, fair. No, you're right. You're right. Competition, bad word. Because I think that would be the best case scenario for Ty Simpson would actually be that. I wonder if it's Rodgers not wanting to deal with wanting to deal with. Oh God, I got to look over my shoulder again and ask questions about my mentorship with this guy. Let me just play football because I know he was good with Jordan Love. Everybody says that. I'm not that.
Right.
Yeah. No, I think you're right on that. Yeah.
Say hi to our LA teammates. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
That is Evan Cohen of Unsportsmanlike. I feel like, Jesse, maybe his position was misrepresented by Old Boy yesterday. Is that fair?
No. I think that was a pretty... Tausch was a little radical in his response, and I think that Evan and Michelle had a pretty warranted discussion about how to approach the number 3 overall pick yesterday. So I think everybody's exactly painted the way that they should be on this entire matter.
They're right on point. All right, we still got to finish up the 9 o'clock hour. We'll do that, and then we will get into the Packers offensive line and this Mike Clay rating because I really think this is fascinating. And we've got Bryan Bulaga in as our cousin sub of the day to help us make sense. That's all still ahead. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
Mark Tauscher here for Iron Jock. As a former athlete, I've worn just about every type of workout gear there is, and nothing compares to Iron Jock. Their performance apparel is built to fight sweat, odor, and bacteria, keeping you feeling fresh no matter how hard you push. From the gym to the pickleball court, Iron Jock keeps you dry, comfortable, and confident. Upgrade to Iron Jock. Available now at ironjock.com.
You rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute.
This Badger Minute brought to you by your Badgerland Chevy dealers, proud supporters of Badger Athletics. Go to BadgerlandChevy.com. With this Badger Minute, I'm Jesse Nelson. It's looking like a loaded non-conference slate for Wisconsin volleyball in 2026. We now know the Badgers will feature at least 3 rematches set from last year's NCAA tournament in the first month of the season. A Final Four rematch at the ABCA First Serve Showcase in Milwaukee against Kentucky. An Elite 8 rematch with Texas in Austin. And as part of the opening Spike Classic in Pittsburgh, not only a Sweet 16 rematch against Stanford, but also a showdown with the Pitt Panthers, who reached the Final Four last season and have been one of the winningest programs in the country over the last 5 years.
Wisconsin weather is unpredictable. Your windows shouldn't be. Upgrade with Pella and get 0% interest until 2030. Order by April 30th at PellaWI.com.
1896, Horicon Bank first opened its doors. Wisconsin wasn't even 50 years old.
We've maintained our roots over the years and yet expanded.
We empower our people to invest in the community. We give them 40 hours of volunteer time.
We're doing it with a personal touch, with a desire to say yes to our customers.
You shouldn't have to work with a bank that sends their profits to New York City or Toronto. You can keep your money here and it benefits Wisconsin.
Horicon Bank, together doing good for 130 years. Member FDIC.
All the biggest voices, all in one place. The Yingling Guest Hotline. Exclusive insight from Hall of Famers, All-Stars, and Game Changers, all on the Yingling Guest Hotline.
Pro Football Hall of Famer Joe Thomas.
We got to play with the structure we have. We got to play with the ball that they gave us.
The Yingling Guest Hotline on ESPN Wisconsin.
We're Wisconsin. What are the things that we can do to try to make us more competitive in the current environment?
Yingling, now officially in Wisconsin. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, PA. Enjoy responsibly.
Gearing up for tailgating, fireworks, festivals, and updating your home. This is an absolute season for it all. Siding Unlimited can handle the home part. Start the process by visiting Siding Unlimited at 2018 South Stoughton Road and check out our amazing showroom. Ideas will follow, and eventually you'll experience our fantastic carpenters installing new windows, siding, roofing, and doors. We do it all, and it starts by visiting our showroom or going to sidingunlimited.com.
Bedbrush here for the best team in Madison, Zimbrick European. The all-new 2026 Audi Q3 has arrived at Audi Madison. Lease the all-new 2026 Audi Q3 Quattro for $529 per month for 36 months. Offers only available until April 30th. Stop in and test drive today. Check out AudiMadison.com to see current inventory and specials. Start your adventure at Audi Madison today, off the Beltline and Rimrock Road.
My fiance wanted to incorporate me in the process of picking out my engagement ring. And we went to Chalmers, and that was the first place that we went to look for rings.
The staff educated us right away, and we felt very comfortable, and I learned a lot about diamonds.
Chalmers did a great job explaining the process to us, the type of grade of the diamond.
Just from the second you walk in, I mean, there's somebody who's taking you over, showing you exactly what you want in your price range.
I think that my ring is the most beautiful ring I've ever seen, thanks to Chalmers Jewelers.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just to you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today.
We'll get to the 10 o'clock hour in the offensive line conversation in a bit. But I think Evan Cohen, the best thing that he said there, and it maybe is a little bit controversial, or maybe I'm just guilty of getting swept up in the euphoria of the Packers drafting a wide receiver in the first round for the first time in 23 years. But for as much excitement as there was about the Matthew Golden selection, and look, Brian, he's gonna have a huge opportunity this year, right? I mean, they have cleared the runway for him to be a major player in this offense, and we'll see what he does with that opportunity. But maybe looking at where their offensive line is currently, knowing that they had 3 guys at this time last year going into the last year of their contract, right? Because they had not extended Zach Tom as of the week before the draft or the week of the draft. So they had Zach Tom, they had Rasheed Walker, and they had Sean Ryan all going into the last years of their deals. And we knew that Elton Jenkins wasn't a happy camper. And as it turned out, they did nothing to improve his contract, which is why he's no longer on the team. Maybe a boring selection of one of you offensive linemen, maybe we'll look back on that draft and say, yeah, it was fun for Mark Murphy to get up there with his big spiel about drafting a wide receiver in Green Bay while they were hosting the draft. But maybe they're going to regret not adding another good offensive lineman. Evan might be very well right about that.
He could be. I mean, I think Golden has a ton of potential. It can be a really good
Me
player.
too.
I think there's all of that. I mean, we kind of finally got a good glimpse of it, unfortunately, in the final game of the season, right? Like that, it took till the end of the year to see what the young man can do and how gifted he is. I get all that. But now you fast forward now to this year, right? And you're looking at the group that is up front, and it's thin, man. And you're essentially, because what Evan was saying, and which I agree with him, like you stock that position as much as you can, and you create competition among that group as much as you can to prepare for what may come throughout a season. And unfortunately for this Packers team, the last few years with this group is we've seen guys miss significant time, right? A game or two here, then later on another guy's missing 3 games here. And when you're constantly having to place new bodies that potentially, or maybe it turns out to be, because we kind of saw it a little bit last year and now this year if it happens, that aren't ready to do that job. And at the offensive line group, I know I said it earlier in the show, you can't expect guys to perform like starters or be starters, or you can't have that kind of depth. In our room, and this is just the way it is, Tausch would say the exact same, it doesn't matter. If you're put in there, you're expected to toe the line and do your job and hold up, right? Like guys around you will do their best to protect you and help you out when needed, and we understand our weak points better than any other group, I feel like. Maybe the quarterback knows it too, because he's obviously behind us. And Aaron always knew if we had someone in, how to protect that guy. But there's no one that knows each other better than we do. So if we know that there's a premier player going up against the guy that got put in there for the week, we're most likely Corey is going to slide that way every time. And Corey's eyes are going to be Corey may be looking at a different linebacker, but chances are his body and his hand is in that A gap protecting that guard or whoever it may be. And same thing at tackle. If a new tackle's in, that guard is always has his eyes just out there in case that DN jumps inside so he can lay a body and a hand on him. So, like, we know how to protect each other based on that. It's just that at times you're going to have to be able to handle your job one-on-one, and you're not going to get any help. You have to be able to execute the job just as well as the guy in there before you, and that was always the standard. Didn't matter if you were the backup, the starter. There's not supposed to be a drop-off in performance with that group, and I know it's unrealistic, but that was our mentality when we were there with Campy and the guys that were there. Like, if you go in, you're expected to win. You don't get a break because you're a backup, and it's not like, oh, well, pity us. We lost our starter for the game, and we had to play with the backup. Like, that's not the way it is, but this group right now, if a starter goes out, there is not a commodity behind them. There's just not a commodity behind them. So you look at what maybe could have or should have been done in last year's draft, preparing to lose these guys this offseason, losing Sheed, losing Elton. Obviously, they retained Sean Ryan, but now you take one of your backups.
Which basically they had to do, right? I mean, again, Sean Ryan's a guy, and we'll get into the offensive line here coming up, but Sean Ryan's a guy, kind of like I said about Darian Kennard, it always felt like they were looking for somebody better, right? They were rotating him with Jordan Morgan. Like, it's just, so it'll be, I admit that I have a bias because, first of all, the offensive line area of the locker room was always my favorite area, right? Most relatable guys would give me a hard time. Like, I like that section of the locker room. And they're always the smartest guys, too, that can give you, when you actually tried to give insight, you were great, which I appreciated later in your career. But my point is that I have a bias, but I do think it all starts there. They can make everyone better. They make your running back better. They make your quarterback better. By making the quarterback better and giving him more time, they make your wide receivers better. And that's why I want to get into these rankings, because how a team like Houston, which fancies itself a Super Bowl contender, has the worst rated offensive line in this, and the Packers are 27th. That strikes me as danger for those teams. We'll get into that to kick off the 10 o'clock hour with Bryan Bulaga as our cousin sub of the day. I want to remind you to tune in to Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus Audio Network, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Right now, it's the Bucks versus the world, the story of the 1987 Bucks taking on the Russians, narrated by Charlie Behrens. That is available right now. You can find it Behind the Bucks on the bucks.com/plus website, plus the Bucks app, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get your podcast. Behind the Bucks, presented by Gallagher. The 10 o'clock hour starts in 2 minutes, so stick around. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
$2.3 million. A recent Schwab survey of Americans says that it takes $2.3 million to be wealthy. Well, you may have had your financial plan set on a bigger or a more humble number. But if you're looking for added insights on how to get there or how to avoid some tax pitfalls on the way, Annex Wealth Management is ready to listen. Mark Tauscher here, and whether your situation is complex or simple, the Annex Wealth Management team can give you wealth expertise and guidance on reaching your goals. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
This is Monte Ball.
Monte steps to the right, dashes, reaches, touchdown!
You listen to 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison and streamers everywhere. I'm Jesse Nelson. Sports Center brought to you by Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison. 4 generations. Check them out at 220 State Street and online at goodmansjewelers.com. The Milwaukee Brewers back in action tonight as their road trip continues from Miami to Detroit. Talk about 2 big differences in the month of April. Brewers and Tigers start a 3-game set tonight. 5:40 first pitch Central Time. Pre-game coverage starts at 5:05 here on Madison's home of the Brewers, 100.5 ESPN. Fans looking for Jim, Matt, and Molly can find the second hour of the show available streaming exclusively on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. Entering the day, the Brewers are 12-9 on the season. They would be in first place in 2 other divisions in Major League Baseball. They're in last place in the NL Central, entering action today. Meanwhile, high school baseball on Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania this afternoon. The Middleton Cardinals and the Madison East Pergolders. First pitch at 5 o'clock. Pre-game coverage starts at 4:45. Riley Auk and the Dean Dennis Semrau have the call, streaming exclusively on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. Wilde and Tausch continues next.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
The 10 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch with Bryan Bulaga as our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better, begins now. And as I have been talking about, and this came to my attention thanks to Josh DiMaggio and Gabe Neitzel and Chewy, who were talking about it on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy this morning. Mike Clay of ESPN took a look at all 32 NFL teams' offensive lines. In case you're wondering, the Denver Broncos are number 1 in his rankings. I didn't see this coming either, especially after their starting center abruptly retired. But the Bears are number 3. And the Packers land at 27th, with the Houston Texans having the worst offensive line. Basically, if you're in the dark red, you're really bad. If you're in a lighter shade of red, you're just sort of bad. If you're in the white, you're kind of mid, as the kids say. And then varying degrees of green make you good. The Packers have 1 green offensive lineman. That is Zach Tom. His grade from Mike Clay is 7.4. The other 4 starters in highest grade to lowest grade order. Left guard Aaron Banks is 4.8. Jordan Morgan is 4.5. Anthony Belton is 3.9, and Sean Ryan is 3.6. Other teams with bad offensive lines, which I don't think surprised me. The Packers and the Texans are the ones who did. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 30th. The Miami Dolphins are 31st. The Cleveland Browns, Elton Jenkins' new team, is 29th. Yeah, that's what I expect. Cincinnati is 28th. Like, Brian, generally speaking, not a good offensive line, not a good football team.
Yeah, that's normally the way that goes. And I'll put it this way. In a long time, I mean a long time, I've never seen a Packers offensive line preseason rating of that nature. And listen, everyone knows I've been on this show, been on with Homer, I've been on with everyone. I don't take stock in PFF grades. Everyone knows that, right? So hear me out with that. But to his credit, I'm sorry, I'm losing his name. Who put this together?
Mike
I know
Clay.
you said it like Mike Clay. He's done pretty good research on it, and you're looking at where he has people ranked, and there's pretty good data on it. Like, I mean, I'm not sitting here and saying that like, oh well, he based it on PFF grades alone. Because if it just said based on PFF grades alone, I would say this is a junk list. Get rid of it. It doesn't make. I don't like it. But that's not what this is based on. And I'm looking at his rankings and seeing teams, and I agree with a lot of where he has people rated. Right, like he's got Houston at 32, Miami at, I think, 31. Those are interchangeable in my opinion, right? Like I think most of those could. So like I feel like he's spot on with kind of how he has these teams ranked. I would love to talk to him about the Bears at 3. I think that's an overrating. I truly do. Like that would, I'd like to, like they have Thuney at 8.9, which brings that average up for everybody, which I get. Thuney's a special player. He's really good. But that doesn't mean the rest of the group is that.
He's got
good.
3 guys with green grades for them. So yes. Thuney's not the only guy that he likes. And basically, think about this, because Dahlman was a stud as their center. If he doesn't retire, they might be number 1, because Garrett Bradbury, who's their new center, drags them down with kind of a pink colored grade at 4.8.
Yeah, most likely. But even with that, I want to see that group do it again. Right? You have 1 year in a new system, new scheme. You don't really know what Ben Johnson's going to give you. I always say, like, you want to see the group do it again. I want to see it again. If they're that good again next year, there's a ton of validity to that. But moving on to what we're getting onto is the Packers here. That is a concerning list. And the thing is, you're basing it based on performances last season, right? This isn't like, because it even says in that, what's the word that he said on that list at the bottom, how these rankings, prestige and pedigree, and things like that. So he's judging in past performance as well. Like, this isn't just from last year, it's years prior. This is a culmination of things. Like, this isn't just PFF grade years last year. Hence why Zach Tom is where he's at, right? Hence why Zach Tom's at 7.4. And if Zach Tom isn't injured the last 2 years, Zach Tom's probably in the 8s, in my opinion, right? Like, that's most likely that grade's even higher for him, and he's in the 8 or 7.9, 8 category. But the rest of that group, I agree. Now, I don't know if I'm like at Sean Ryan at a 3.6. Like, that seems a little
It's pretty low.
Dodgy. That seems a little dodgy to me. Now, obviously, you're looking at bad snaps last year and things like that. Those get thrown in because those are huge negatives for centers. Obviously, a bad snap or things like that. That's like the biggest negative a center can get. But the rest of the group, like you look at past year's performances, Jordan Morgan doesn't have a bunch of performances to go based on, right? I mean, he doesn't have a bunch of snaps to go on, so you can only judge based on the tape that you have. And it hasn't been good, right? It hasn't been good. Then Banks last year, inconsistent and injured, played better towards the end of last year, but you look at the inconsistencies early on, then you're injured and you're not playing, so you're not able to improve your performances. You're not playing. So the grade is where it is, right? And then Belton, like I said, for the position he was put in, he did some good things. But then again, at the end of the season, he was exposed a little bit with defensive tackles that are able to move laterally, literally well, and just aren't bull rushing him. If you bull rush him, you're fitting into Belton's hands. You're doing exactly what Belton would want you to do. So for me, is Belton able to not just get better at his lateral movement at the guard position and be able to take on those rushers, but is he able to learn from how rushers were setting him up and he can set rushers up to make them bull rush him, take something away to play into his strengths, right? And that's something where you look at from a year one to year two jump. Do guys make that? It's not just about, he got way better. He got better. He understands the game better. No, it's understanding now, what did guys do against me as they got more tape on me to beat me? Okay, I've seen that. I understand that. How can I now start baiting guys into doing things that I want them to do that's to my strength? And that will be the game that hopefully he develops from year one to year two and in a training camp, that he's able to now figure out how to kind of dictate pass rushing and things like that and get guys to do what he wants them to do. Zach Tom figured that out, right? You look at Zach Tom early on in his time playing tackle. I think Zach Tom struggled with power early on. Obviously, he got stronger. I feel like, he was young at the time. He got a little bit stronger, and he was able to handle those things. But Zach Tom was able to get rushers to, based on his pass set, to get rushers to play into his strength, which is getting up the field. And he's good at handling speed and things like that, and he's got good hands. And he obviously got stronger and was able to anchor better as time went on, as he spent time in the league. But Zach Tom evolved his game based on what his weaknesses were early in his career. That's what you're looking for from young linemen to be able to do. Sean Ryan's going to be a great example of that, and how he's able to see what he did at center in his whatever it was. What was it? 8 games, Jason? 7 games? I don't know what
9 starts. I believe he made 9 starts.
Yeah. See what he did in his 9 starts. And you got to be super critical of yourself, right? You have to look at these things super critical and be a tough evaluator on yourself, so that no matter what people say about you, you're like, I said worse things about that or to myself, and I expect more of myself. But it's being critical and learning from that and say, okay, how can I not just improve on that, but now how can I start dictating what I do to these guys and setting things up for myself to make my life easier. So that list is unfortunately kind of a harsh reality right now. That's where it's at. And I'm not trying to be, a bleep hole. We'll put it that way. I'm not trying to be that. I'm really
nothing
not.
worse than a bleep hole.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be that. But you're looking at past performances and what went on last year, and then you're bringing that into the new year, and that's just where we're at.
So I want you to give this some thought during the break. Of the 5 starters, I want to know who concerns you the most, and then obviously the answer of who you feel most confident in is Zach Tom, as we've talked about him many times, but we don't know what his status is. Like, we have to ask Goody where Zach Tom is at in his recovery and if he had surgery.
Yes.
We have to make sure we ask that today. So we'll get into that coming up. Want to remind you, I talk about Associated Bank all the time. I've got the regular Associated Bank checking with my Associated Bank logo and the great customer service. If you are a Brewers fan and you're heading over to AmFam Field a bunch and you want great customer service in your checking and your bank, you got to make the switch to Associated Bank. Listen to the perks you get with Brewers checking. 20% off at the Brewers team store when you show your Brewers card. Up to 50% off home game tickets exclusively for Brewers checking account customers. Express entry through the Associated Bank entrance of American Family Field. Pre-sale access to designated concerts and non-baseball events at AmFam Field. And savings on the famous Racing Sausages Run and Walk, the Brewers Baseball Academy registration. All great things that come with being an Associated Bank customer. So go to associatedbank.com/Brewers to find out more. More with Bryan Bulaga, our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 27 locations in this great state. Headquartered in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paints you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
What's new at Zimbrick Chevrolet? A lot! A free car wash with every service, plus a brand new detail facility to keep your ride looking fresh all year long. Relax with coffee and snacks while you wait, and if you can't, grab one of their numerous service loaners, take the shuttle, or even get a lift on them. Plus, Zimbrick Chevrolet has the largest new Chevrolet inventory in southern Wisconsin, and you'll never overpay at Zimbrick Chevrolet. Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie, the name you can trust.
Wisconsin weather doesn't ease into spring. It keeps you guessing. That's why your windows and doors need to handle everything. At Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, we build for year-round comfort. Now get 0% interest until 2030. That's years of no interest, so you can upgrade now and pay over time. Plus, enjoy a free in-home consultation, expert installation, and a 10-year limited warranty. But order by April 30th. Schedule today at PellaWI.com.
People travel the world to collect Hard Rock shirts, and Hard Rock Casino Rockford is going to give the people what they want. Get in on the action at Hard Rock Casino Rockford, where all new Unity card signups receive an official Hard Rock shirt, plus free play to kickstart a winning streak. Whether you're spinning the slots or playing the tables, you'll be dressed for success. Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Let's Hard Rock. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
My husband had purchased something at another store. He was very unhappy with the quality of it. We went into Chalmers and just started looking around and kind of got inspired to do something together that was unique for us.
It really isn't any more expensive to do a one-of-a-kind custom piece.
I love it. It's beautiful. I get a lot of compliments on it.
Turned out how I hoped it would.
It really makes me feel good to wear.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on where you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Turn your dream kitchen into a reality with the IKEA Dream Kitchen event. Now through April 21st, IKEA family members save 10% when they spend $3,000 or more on section kitchen cabinets and eligible appliances and countertops. That's modern style, smart storage, and everyday functionality designed your way. Plus, section cabinets come with a 25-year limited warranty. Not sure where to start? IKEA's expert kitchen planners are here to guide you every step of the way. Your dream kitchen is closer than you think. So visit IKEA Oak Creek or IKEA.us today.
In 1987, the Bucks took on the world and changed basketball forever.
At stake, basketball supremacy in the United States.
Bucks versus the World, narrated by Charlie Behrens, is the new season of Behind the Bucks podcast, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. It's the untold story of the 1987 McDonald's Open, when the Bucks became the first NBA team to face the Soviet Union. Listen now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
Brewers baseball is back.
Bowers a drive to right. It's way back and gone.
Tune in all season right here on 100.5 ESPN, Madison's home of the Brewers.
All right, we'll let Brian think about his power rankings of concern on the offensive line for a little while longer, because we want to take a call here and take advantage of, not that we don't have offensive line expertise when Tausch is here. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I know he's been sensitive lately. But you're spending more time breaking down the film than old boy. He's got a lot on his plate. He's got the Badgers to worry about. So, let's take a call from Phil in Cedarburg, who wants to ask Brian a question. Phil, good morning. How are you, buddy?
Not too bad. It's nice and sunny out today, which is warm-ish. I'm happy.
Nice. What do you got for Brian?
I'm solar powered. All right, so I know he's given Rodgers a lot of credit in the past for helping the O-line out in terms of being in the right spot and, I don't know, directing traffic or whatever it is. I'm kind of curious as to how much of the poor play of the O-line he attributes to, I guess, Jordan Love, maybe as an experience, and coaching.
Brian?
So,
how do you view that?
I guess the last part of the question was, do I contribute the Jordan? I didn't catch the end part of that question.
So I think one of the things that people look back on with Rodgers, which I would argue he also made your job a lot harder with the way he extended plays.
At times, yes.
You know, his ability to elude in the pocket and get the ball out. I would argue that one of the best things that Jordan Love does is he's not a runner, but he does do a pretty good job of moving within the pocket with those subtle movements that he probably learned from playing with Rodgers. That, his sack numbers have gone down every year, even when we're questioning the quality of the offensive line. And the coach is a factor in that, right? If he's drawing up plays that get the ball out quickly. So I think Phil's saying, if we're saying the offensive line isn't great, how much is that the play of the quarterback or the coaching of the coach and the play calling? Because sometimes that's a benefit, but in any way do you see the quarterback or LaFleur being a negative in making an offensive line that has its inconsistencies even worse?
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. I don't see anything, at least from my perspective, watching Jordan Love play, right? Like in seeing him in the pocket, seeing how long he holds onto the football. There's nothing about what he does from a visual standpoint and seeing how he plays the position that I go, he's making their life a living hell right now. He's making this way more difficult on these guys than what it needs to be. He's holding the ball too long. He continues to stray like more back in the pocket, so the tackles are having a hard time holding up on the edge. Like, there's nothing that I see from that standpoint. And like you mentioned, he does elude traffic within the pocket really well, and he's able to escape and do those things. What I cannot speak for, because I have no idea, right, are the adjustments being made at the line of scrimmage pre-snap, right? I you can sometimes hear some calls from the mic and pick up if Jordan makes an adjustment, and I'm sure things have changed from when I was first there. Some things haven't changed. And I can pick up some things when I'm watching it live and you hear the audio. and you have an idea of where he's making adjustments to. But from a total sense, I can't comment on the adjustments he's making at the line of scrimmage to put these guys in certain situations based on protection adjustments or run adjustments and things like that. So that I don't know. And that if there are bad adjustments being made or bad pressure pickup adjustments being made, yes, that will make the offensive line look a certain type of way, because if you adjust them to Mike a new linebacker and now the group's rules change and they don't pick up a certain blitzer or something like that and guys get cut loose, it does from the TV copy look like, well, that's on the guys up front. They just cut that guy loose. Well, sometimes that's not the way it works, right? Like sometimes if we get re-ID'd, our rules change with that ID, and now responsibility now changes from a back, or it's on the quarterback to throw hot off that guy or whatever it may be, right? Like that's all the rules within the system. From Matt's standpoint, right, I think is where we're getting at with this is he making it harder on the guys? Well, to me, I know the offense has changed from a run game standpoint because we see it visually, right? Like we see what their run game is. We see the lack thereof play action game, which was so it was so dominant in my first year there, and then obviously in the second and third year in that system, the play action game was a dominant trait of the offense. Well, that's not the case so much anymore. Now, is that Matt to blame? You could say, like, hey, Matt, like, you should probably be going back to that style, which again, we're working backwards here because he said that in that coach's meeting that he's taking it back down to the studs. So that would mean to me that he is going back to that. But from a protection standpoint, and I've said this to you guys, and again, I've said this to Homer, like I love repeating it because it's so true. People think there's a million different pass protections and ways to pick up pressures and things like that. There's only so many pass protection schemes that the Packers have, that any team have, right? There's your 5-man pro where there's only five guys in the blocking scheme. That's scat protection, right? 5 have to block everybody, right? That's empty backfield, or there's a back normally back there, but then he releases out. That's scat protection. And then there's 6-man protection. That's your jets. That's 2-jet, 3-jet, 2-300 jet. That's 3-step drop. And then there's your 7-man protections, right? That's like old McCarthy. That's like Fox. That's play action. It's things like that. So that's what you have. Now, there are rules built in within the 6-man pro and the 7-man pro. The 5-man pro, it's essentially you're blocking the most dangerous. Like tackles have to squeeze, pick up the most dangerous if there's a blitzer away from the ID and things like that. But the 6-man protection is probably most run on. That's jet, 2-3 jet, 2-300 jet, things like that. It's slide one way, man on the backside. And then the way LaFleur does it is you are essentially sifting and double bumping and picking up the most dangerous on that slide side. That's the way that operates.
Okay, that makes sense.
So with that though, there's not a bunch of different other things you can do to make life easier on guys, right? Like this is to me a high-level quarterback. You want to give him as many options out in the route tree as you can. So if you think you're just going to run 7-man pro all the time, and honestly, I say 6-man because the back's in there for a quick second to help, and then he releases out. He's getting out in the route tree too, unless he has a direct pressure coming to the man side away from the slide. Or if there's edge pressure somewhere coming that he's scanning before he releases. This isn't like we walk to the sideline now and we draw up a new pass protection to make life easier on the guys. That it doesn't work that way. Like there's no such thing as that. Like you're either changing schemes completely and saying, hey, we were doing a lot of 6-man or 2-jet or 3-jet. Now we're going to go to a 7-man pro and we're keeping 7 guys in because we can't block these guys. Well, that limits your options in the pass game completely. That just completely shuts down what you can do. It changes the personnel group. And now you have a tight end hanging out, so Tucker Kraft. You have Tucker Kraft hanging out, and now you have your running back hanging out to help the offensive line, which is just, there's a time and a place for it, but it's not all the time. Or you think this is going to be a scat protection game, which is a 5-man blocking scheme. The center IDs one guy, so the center's working to the ID linebacker, and then everyone else is on a big duel. So we're dueling the most dangerous. So if we have 2 down linemen and a linebacker, and the linebacker mugs up, we have to squeeze down to that guy, and if he drops out, then we have to back out to the original 2 rushers, and you're going on the fly, and things are happening really quick, and you have to make split decisions on what's happening. Unless the quarterback IDs you, obviously, then rules change again, and you have to do that. But this thought that Matt needs to do something to make life easier in pass protection for guys, it's just not realistic. The pass pros are the pass pros. Like, those schemes are in. The rules are in. Like, everything's built in. It is then up to the guys on the field to make that scheme work and understand the protection and the rules within the scheme to benefit themselves. Obviously, the quarterback has a big hand in that. He can see things a lot better in rotations and certain movements better than even the center. But that's up to those 5 guys to make that work to their benefit. How can we make these rules work to our benefit? What can make life easier for us going against, say, this pressure look or this defense or against certain pass rushers? What can we do to help ourselves within the frame of the offense and within the frame of the scheme? So I don't really look at it as a Matt issue. And again, I can't speak to it because I don't know what protection adjustments are being made by Jordan. I don't really look at it as a Jordan issue either.
They just have to
be honest with
look.
you.
And you guys, here's the thing about offensive linemen, and then I want to get to your take before I have to go to Goody on where your greatest concern is among the starters. You guys aren't wired that way. Well, the coach isn't making it easier on me, or the quarterback. Like, did you and David sometimes complain about Rodgers extending the play 6 seconds and making it a little difficult? Of course you did. But you guys are your attitude, and it started with Campy, who played the position himself. You guys aren't going to make excuses or complain about the quarterback holding on the ball too long. You may complain about it a little bit and give Rodgers a hard time, say, hey, little help here. But you guys are probably, as opposed to some other positions on the roster, as self-critical. And frankly, because your coaches are really critical of you. Because, again, everything starts with you guys. And if you guys aren't doing your job, then nobody else on offense can do their job effectively. So, again, I don't know where this offensive line will be. Maybe they will surprise us. But I want to talk a little bit with Brian about where his biggest concern is. Then we'll play trivia after that while I go to Goody's presser, and then I'll be back. Want to remind you, as I have been, and it's great that I'm getting feedback from fans and people who listen to the show regularly, that they're in the same boat I am. They have not been responsible about getting their affairs in order. And, Walney Legal Group calls it an uncomfortable necessity. They're right on both counts. I'm uncomfortable with it, so I just kept pushing it off. But it's a necessity, and I need to do something about it to do right by Paula and Maddie and Sid. And the fact that I have not done that, I'm really glad that we have Walney Legal Group now as a great partner on Wilde and Tausch, because I got to get my estate planning in order. They offer a custom personalized experience, whether it's about wills, trusts, probate, elder care, or special needs planning. They make it smooth, easy, and as painless as possible from start to finish. Their motto: lawyering the way it should be. Clear communication, niche expertise, personal service, and a modern approach. They've got all kinds of awards that they've won, including being among the best lawyers in America. So they know their stuff, and they're friendly, creative, sensible, and smart. So go to their website to start the process now. WalneyLegal.com. That is WALNY legal.com. I have my intake form that I have to fill out, so Ito and the crew there can figure out exactly what I need to do for Paula and the girls. They will start the process for you as well. So go to the website, WalneyLegal.com, WALNY legal.com. More with Bryan Bulaga, our cousin sub of the day. Next, it's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Mark Tauscher here for Iron Jock. As a former athlete, I've worn just about every type of workout gear there is, and nothing compares to Iron Jock. Their performance apparel is built to fight sweat, odor, and bacteria, keeping you feeling fresh no matter how hard you push. From the gym to the pickleball court, Iron Jock keeps you dry, comfortable, and confident. Upgrade to Iron Jock. Available now at ironjock.com.
Every round.
Here comes Roger Goodell with Green Bay's pick.
Every pick.
The Green Bay Packers select.
Every second of the NFL Draft. Right here on ESPN Madison.
You look at where we are right now at corner. There's only 2 lock first-round corners.
Tune into ESPN Wisconsin's draft coverage all weekend.
It's time, baby!
ESPN Wisconsin Draft Night begins with Round 1, Thursday, April 23rd. Right here on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Ben Bruss here for the best team in Madison, Zimbrick European. The all-new 2026 Audi Q3 has arrived at Audi Madison. Lease the all-new 2026 Audi Q3 Quattro for $529 per month for 36 months. Offer is only available until April 30th. Stop in and test drive today. Check out AudiMadison.com to see current inventory and specials. Start your adventure at Audi Madison today, off the Beltline and Rimrock Road.
Legacy? Yuengling, 197 years family owned. That's elite. But legends evolve. Meet Flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer. Just 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, and it actually tastes like beer. Crisp, clean, goes the distance. No regret in a can here. Your beer should keep up with you. Flight's putting up MVP numbers in the light beer game. The other guys on the bench. Wisconsin, level up. Flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer. DG Yuengling & Son, Pottsville, PA. Enjoy responsibly.
I'm John Hayes, owner of Goodman's Jewelers. We've been at the heart of many magical moments, from engagements to weddings to sweet 16s. It warms my heart to be a part of these moments for 40 years with people I consider family. With the highest standards and an eye for classic beauty, enjoy a warm boutique setting at Goodman's Jewelers, where integrity shines in every gem. At 220 State Street, Goodman's Jewelers, the Diamond Store, Madison, since 1933.
The best is at Goodman's.
Looking for a fun new way to golf on Monday nights? The Bridges Golf Course in Madison is teeing up a brand new 2-person scramble league. Grab a friend and compete head-to-head in a relaxed format, men's, women's, or co-ed. Great for beginners and experienced players alike. Monday nights at the Bridges Golf Course in Madison.
The high school baseball season is heating up on Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania. This week we head to Warner Park as the Madison East Pergolders play host to the Middleton Cardinals. East is searching for their first win in conference play, while Middleton tries to establish itself as a team to beat in the Big 8. Myself, Riley Yauk, and the Dean, Dennis Semrau, have the call. First pitch is slated for 5 p.m. with pregame coverage beginning at 4:45 on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Looking to buy your next home or ready to sell and move on to bigger and better things? What's up, Madison? It's Stacy from Bruner Realty. Spring into action this season and let's get housed. Nobody knows what the future holds. The longer you wait to find your next home, the better chance you'll be paying more for it than you would be today. Don't miss out on what could be the best opportunity to find your dream home. Contact our team at BrunerRealtyInc.com to get started. That's BrunerRealtyInc.com. Let's get housed.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app, customizable just to you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today.
All right, Jesse and Bulaga play some trivia here coming up, and then Jesse's curated a number of good questions from you on the Carbless Talk and text line. Less is more. So we'll get to those as well while I'm at Goody. Brian, do you have any requests? Tausch didn't have any requests yesterday. I like to take requests. Do you have anything for Goody that I need to ask that's top of mind for you?
I would like to know if he, based on obviously the depth at certain positions, if he's expecting round 2 and round 3 guys to be instant impact guys, if that's the way he's looking at round 2 and round 3 this year. Because, you normally look at round 1, round 2, round 3, and maybe round 1 and round 2 based on who you draft and what position they go into, obviously, right? I mean, it's all case by case. Like Jordan Love obviously wasn't going to be an impact guy when he was drafted. Aaron was there. But is he looking at round 2 and round 3 as guys that are going to need to impact this team immediately? Like, because you're looking at certain depth at certain positions like DB, like edge rusher, maybe not as much offensive line, but if you do draft a lineman in the 2nd or 3rd round or whatever it may be, to push for a starting spot. Like, it's open for competition that they are able to crack into the starting lineup. And I guess that's my biggest question, because if we're just drafting for potential 2 years, 3 years down the road, that doesn't serve the mission this year, which has been said that this is a championship roster. If I'm not incorrect,
I'm not sure it is at the moment though. All right, Brian and Jesse are going to play trivia, presented by Cousin Subs, Iron Jock, and Vortex Golf. Jesse, what's today's category, and what caller would you like?
Today's trivia category is the
2010.
I did forget what it was for a second, but now I remember. The 2010 Bryan Bulaga NFL Draft.
Nice.
With Bryan Bulaga.
Questions about
Cousin Sub of the Day. Yep, about all kinds of players from the 2010 NFL Draft, not just the Green Bay Packers, although there is at least one question specifically about the Packers in that draft.
All right, well, it was 2010. So, and Brian, you were picked 23. Caller 23 right now for trivia, 844-770-3776. Top 10 talent at number 23, not bad. Caller 23 right now, 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. Brian and Jesse will play trivia next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Chris McIntosh is out, but don't flinch.
If he doesn't want to be the athletic director, that's great. Using one of my old slogans, you don't flinch.
Find Barry Alvarez's full interview with Wilde and Tausch, available on the ESPN Wisconsin app and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Mark Tauscher here for Pizza Hut, and when you look around right now, everything seems to be extra expensive in the world, except this. Right now, get a large 3-topping pizza for just $10 at Pizza Hut. Try it on Pizza Hut's new hand-tossed crust, crispy and golden outside, soft and fluffy inside, finished with garlic parm seasoning. Available for delivery or carryout. Order today at pizzahut.com or on the Pizza Hut app. Pizza Hut, feed good times, and remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute.
This Badger Minute brought to you by Steinhoffels. April is Sleep Awareness Month. Get $300 in Steinhoffels cash with a Tempur-Pedic mattress. Sleep better and wake up feeling refreshed. Relax. It's Steinhoffels. With this Badger Minute, I'm Jesse Nelson. It's looking like a loaded non-conference slate for Wisconsin volleyball in 2026. We now know the Badgers will feature at least 3 rematches set from last year's NCAA tournament, a Final Four rematch at the ABCA First Serve Showcase in Milwaukee against Kentucky, an Elite 8 rematch with Texas in Austin, and as part of the opening Spike Classic in Pittsburgh, not only a Sweet 16 rematch against Stanford, but also a showdown with the Pitt Panthers, who reached the Final Four last season and have been one of the winningest programs in the country over the last 5 years.
Wisconsin weather is unpredictable. Your windows shouldn't be. Upgrade with Pella and get 0% interest until 2030. Order by April 30th at PellaWI.com.
Hey, sports fans, the ESPN app has all of ESPN all in one place. The ESPN app is your home to thousands of live events, ESPN shows, and originals across every ESPN network and service. And now you can check if you already have ESPN Unlimited as part of your TV package for no additional cost. Visit activate.espn.com to learn how to access your account or sign up, then start streaming in the ESPN app. It's all of ESPN all in one place. Sign up or activate now.
To those who've ever dreamt of their perfect event, those dreams are worthy and they are possible. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With hard work, passion, and great music, we will make your event dreams a reality. Every event is a labor of love, with one-on-one planning, customization, and flawless execution. Bringing your event to life is what we do. For a fun, memorable event, visit celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Ben Bruss here for the best team in Madison, Zimbrick European. The all-new 2026 Audi Q3 has arrived at Audi Madison. Lease the all-new 2026 Audi Q3 Quattro for $529 per month for 36 months. Offers only available until April 30th. Stop in and test drive today. Check out AudiMadison.com to see current inventory and specials. Start your adventure at Audi Madison today, off the Beltline and Rimrock Road.
The Exteriors Company, built for Wisconsin, backed by expertise. From our family to yours, roofing, window, siding, gutters, and doors. Your solution-based company, community strong, and service that will please. Get a free estimate today. The Exteriors Company, built for Wisconsin, backed by expertise.
All day, every day, the Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
After a crash with a semi-truck, everything can change instantly. At Gruber Law Offices, we have the knowledge and experience to make sure you're protected. And we're here to help whenever you need us. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Rich Eisen here. We're off Tuesday, but return Wednesday from Pittsburgh with NFL Network's Tom Pelissero and Charles Davis, and former Bills coach Sean McDermott stops by. That's on Wednesday's Rich Eisen Show on Disney+, the ESPN app, and ESPN Radio.
Wilde and Tausch back with you, and it's the show everybody wanted. Nelson and Bulaga. As Tausch called it yesterday, and I was a little offended by this, Blue, in multiple ways, jelly and belly. That's what Tausch wanted this portion of the program to be called. I think he was going for a whale reference for you, being the beluga whale.
I don't understand the jelly and belly, but
yeah, it was a Tauschism.
Yeah,
so.
It's all right.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right.
So anyway, it is time to play trivia. Jason is heading down to Packers GM Brian Gutekunst's pre-draft press conference right now at a football stadium somewhere in the greater Green Bay region. He will return to the show as soon as they are done. In the meantime, it is time for us to play Wilde and Tausch trivia, presented by Cousin Subs, Iron Jock, and by Vortex Golf.
Wilde and Tausch Trivia is presented by Iron Jock. No stink, just performance. And proudly Wisconsin built. Shop now at ironjock.com. By Cousin Subs. Try the new Protein Power Plays. For subs loaded with protein and made with fresh ingredients you love. All for just $7.99. And by Vortex Golf. Rangefinders you can bet on.
If you think Bryan Bulaga is one of my nemeses in this world, just wait until you meet our trivia contestant from one of my least favorite cities in the state of Wisconsin. It is Jake in McGuanago. Jake, welcome into Wilde and Tausch Trivia. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing, Jesse?
I'm wonderful, Jake. Thanks for asking.
More important, how is Brian doing dealing with Jesse?
It's so early to tell. It says minute one. This is minute one of the joint session here, so ask me in about 15, 20 minutes, and we'll see.
We're just a couple of plays in. Tough to get a feel for it yet. All right, Brian, now Tausch takes breaks from trivia. This has been his thing lately. He likes to take the segment off and just try to guess along with the questions. Would you like to ask one of the questions here as indicated on our rundown, or would you like me to handle all of the responsibilities?
No, I can ask the one that I have indicated
Wonderful.
on the rundown.
Good.
Yeah.
And it is very important when we ask our trivia questions that we ask them verbatim as written on the show rundown, just to avoid any.
I'm looking. Yeah, I'm looking at this.
So make sure you're well prepared for that one coming up. All right, question number 1, Jake. Which Heisman Trophy winning quarterback from Oklahoma was selected with the number 1 overall pick of the 2010 Bryan Bulaga NFL Draft by the St. Louis Rams? Was that quarterback Sam Bradford, Baker Mayfield, or Boomer Sooner Esiason?
That would be Sam Bradford.
It was Sam Bradford. That is correct. And we do have a perfect week going here on a Tuesday, Jake. Don't ruin it. Bryan Bulaga. Remember, it's very important to read the questions as written. You have question number 2.
All right, Jake, so take this question with whatever grain of salt you may like, but I have to read what's been put in front of me. All right, I kind of helped the Packers win the Super Bowl during my rookie season, but which Packers running back selected in the 6th round of the 2010 NFL Draft definitely played a more valuable role than me during Green Bay's championship run in the 2010 season? Was it Brandon Jackson, Eddie Lacy, or James Starks?
That was James Starks. You did a great job blocking for that Eagles game.
Thank you.
I'm just kidding. We change the questions as written all the time, but I'm glad that you played along and made sure you wrote it or read it absolutely as written. That was very important to make sure that you had that. Very well done, Bryan Bulaga. All right, Jake, back to me. You have 2 right so far. Still trying to continue the perfect week with question number 3. Which of these veteran offensive linemen was selected in the 2010 NFL Draft and is still an active NFL player? There's only a handful from that draft class that are still active in the National Football League. Which of these veteran offensive linemen was selected in the 2010 draft and is still an active player? Is it Trent Williams, Lane Johnson, or Russell Okung? Hello, Jake. Are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, we might be losing you, Jake. All right.
Yeah.
Jake? Hello.
Hello.
I know the signal in McGuanago can be tough because it's in the middle of nowhere and it's not nearly as good as Muskego. Are you still now back with us? You're good.
Yeah, is it Trent Williams?
It is Trent Williams. Nicely done.
Yep.
Hopefully that was your guess when we lost you for a second, but well done, Jake. You have all 3 right today, which means you get all 4 entries into the drawing for our triple header prize pack at the end of the week from Cousin Subs, from Iron Jock, and from Vortex Golf. Thanks for playing, Jake. Thanks for tuning in as always, even though you're from McGuanago. Right. Congratulations.
Love you, Brian, not Jesse.
I love you guys.
Thank you.
And Bryan Bulaga has made an ally filling in as our Cousin Sub of the day today. Here on Wilde and Tausch Trivia. Jason Wilde attending the Brian Gutekunst pre-draft press conference in Green Bay. I have curated some questions from the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line that have come in throughout the morning for our famous friend Bryan Bulaga filling in for Tausch today as our Cousin Sub today. We will review those texts, some about the offensive line, some about the draft, some about the future of the Green Bay Packers. So stick around. We're going to cover that, and then Jason's going to return. We're going to break down what Goody had to say at the podium a couple of days before the NFL Draft. That's all to come in the 11 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch. Stick around.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
$2.3 million. A recent Schwab survey of Americans says that it takes $2.3 million to be wealthy. Well, you may have had your financial plan set on a bigger or a more humble number. But if you're looking for added insights on how to get there or how to avoid some tax pitfalls on the way, Annex Wealth Management is ready to listen. Mark Tauscher here, and whether your situation is complex or simple, the Annex Wealth Management team can give you wealth expertise and guidance on reaching your goals. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
Hi, this is former Badger Pro Football Hall of Famer Joe Thomas. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison. Good Karma Brands radio station.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison and streamers everywhere. I'm Jesse Nelson. Sports Center brought to you by Ridgetop Exteriors. Trusted and local experts providing the best quality roof siding, windows, and doors expertly installed and at an affordable price. Get your free estimate today at ridgetopexteriors.com. Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst meeting with the media in Green Bay as we speak, including Jason Wilde in attendance. The pre-draft press conference as the Packers get set to make pick number 52 overall. That's in the second round on Friday night. All you need to get set for the draft, keep it locked right here. Jason Wilde and Bryan Bulaga continuing today on Wilde and Tausch here on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. Baseball, the Brewers back in action tonight visiting the Detroit Tigers. First of a three-game set, 5:40 first pitch Central Time. Pre-game coverage starts at 5:05. Here on Madison's home of the Brewers, 100.5 ESPN. If you're looking for the 5 o'clock hour of Jim, Matt, and Molly today, you can stream it exclusively on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. That's not all you can find on YouTube today. Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania. Tuesday night high school baseball. Middleton and Madison East square off first pitch at 5 o'clock. Streaming live and free on YouTube.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
The show nobody asked for continues on. Jesse and Bulaga. While Jason Wilde is in attendance at Brian Gutekunst's pre-draft press conference up in Green Bay, he will return, we think, next segment. I don't think Goody will talk to. This is, Brian, Tausch brought this up yesterday when we asked him what should Jason ask Brian Gutekunst today. Tausch said, can you just send Jonathan Gannon up here? Because we haven't heard from him yet. And Goody's talked like 4 or 5 times now since the end of the season compared to LaFleur's talked once. Gannon hasn't talked at all. New special teams coordinator hasn't talked at all. It'd be nice to hear from some of those other guys instead of just Goody for the 5th or 6th time before the draft, you know?
I mean, I'm hoping if they do draft a DB that we will hear from Gannon or any defensive player that we'll hear from Gannon regardless. Right,
wouldn't that be awkward for his first press conference to be like talking about the top pick that the Packers had this year being on his side of the ball? Like, shouldn't there be a let's get to know each other introduction before you do that? You would
think, but it's a new league. It's a new NFL, man. it changes every year. It gets a little different every year, and this is no different. I say that I don't remember whenever a new coach was introduced, especially a coordinator, that they never spoke in Green Bay. So this is new. This is new, uncharted territory here.
It does seem like a really bizarre thing. We've talked about it quite a bit on the show over the last several weeks, and I still can't believe it hasn't happened before the draft gets started, because it is really going to be next week probably. They're going to say, here's Jonathan Gannon, but let's talk about all the defensive players the Packers drafted. And by the way, hi, I'm Jonathan Gannon. Like, it's just going to be super awkward. So Jason's down at the press conference with Brian Gutekunst right now. We will recap everything that he has to say. Quite honestly, I don't expect he's going to say a whole, he's not going to tip his entire strategy for the draft 3 days before they make their first pick in the second round. So we'll see what he says this afternoon, and if there's anything compelling, Jason will report back when he returns to the show in a little bit. In the meantime, on the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line, list is more, 844-770-3776. There have been a lot of questions that, quite frankly, I don't think we asked for questions for Bryan Bulaga today, but our fans are so great that they just started sending them in anyway. So I guess they think you have valuable insight, so we're going to get to some of that here. So here is our first question of the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. It comes from a great fan of ours, Matt in West Bend, says this. The Packers have traditionally been one of the best teams at developing offensive linemen. Is that still the case? And if not, why do you think that's changed?
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at current situation right now. I mean, Zach Tom was a development project, right? Like he was a late draft pick. He was a development project, and he's kind of turned into what he is right now. So, like, I think there's cases that they still do a good job of developing guys. Now, we also have to look at the way when I was first there and you had the Sittons and the Langs and the Linsleys and the Bakhtiaris, that was a different system. It was a different head coach. It was a different offensive line coach and things like that. I'm not saying that Campy, for people that don't know that, Jason talks about my offensive line coach. I was in Green Bay forever. Was fantastic at developing, linemen and the way he did it. He had a certain strategy that he went about doing it and kind of how he coached guys. Very good at it. I thought Steno has, when that was obviously the O-line coach. He's now the OC, but he was the O-line coach when I first got there. Or not when I first got there, when Matt first got there. I thought he did a very nice job as well. Elton was obviously a high-round pick, but he still had to get him ready to play in time to go for, when did he start? Week 2, I think, is when Elton took over in that year, was week 2, if I'm not mistaken. But so there was development there, and obviously they had their hand in Zach Tom. Butkus was there for Zach Tom. So you look at, and Sean Ryan as well, regardless if you like him at center or not, he's been a kind of a little bit of a, what was he, a 4th round pick or 5th round? I'm not exactly sure which. Yeah. So he's a guy that got a second contract, that has played guard and has played center and has developed into a starter for them. So I still think they're able to do that. I still think Butkus and when Steno was the O-line coach that they're good at doing that. But it also does come down to the player that you draft, right? Like, you just can't select any guy and expect line coaches to turn him into, the next Sitton or Lang or Bakhtiari. Like, it doesn't really work that way. I mean, even Sheed. Look at Cheeto. He was a 7th round pick, and he started at left tackle for how many games? You have to credit that to Steno and Butkus and those guys developing him into that. Was he a David Bakhtiari? No, he wasn't. He wasn't Dave. But he was a reliable left tackle starter in the NFL. That's the way you have to look at it. So I still do believe that they are capable and they're good at doing it, but at the same time, you have to give them the canvas to paint looking at it in a different perspective. And the object that they are painting has to be, there. And they have to have something to work with, is essentially what I'm saying. So that's a mix of both. That's who you're bringing in, and obviously it's on the coaches to get the most out of that guy. But I still think that they're capable of developing high-level talent for sure.
I didn't know you had that level of artistic insight in you. Bachelor of Arts at the University of Iowa, clearly.
Oh, yeah.
Next up, DJ in the Saw on the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin Talk and Text line. Lists is more, 844-770-3776. He asks, after hearing about how poorly regarded the Packers' offensive line is right now, can we say this is the worst offensive line since 2005, which was several years before you got to Green Bay? And if so, who is to blame for this predicament? I don't know how well you know the O-lines from 05 to 2010, but you certainly could talk about it from then on. And how do you answer DJ's question here?
Yeah, I'm not totally sure how they were in 05. I know that they struggled in, 09, I believe. They struggled in 09 as well. They gave up a lot of, I think, like 61 sacks or something like that in 09, or it was 08. It was one of those 2 years. And how they're in this, I guess, predicament of where the preseason rankings are, right? Like, and again, this is all preseason rankings and outlooks and things like that. When you have a lot of departures, which they obviously, Elton, longtime stud, gone. Sheed, longtime starter, gone. You have to fill that. You have to replace players, right? And that comes kind of what we were talking about just the last question. is you have to bring in guys that are capable and able to be those replacements. Now, they go out and get Banks in free agency. I still think it's a little too early to write that off as a miss, right? I think if he stays healthy and continues to play the way he did towards the end of the year, it could turn into a good move, right? If he plays at that level and stays healthy, I think that position gets solidified. But from an overall standpoint, I think Goody's outlook on the offensive line is we want versatile guys to play everywhere, right? And so you have guys that are learning multiple positions and not really mastering one position, whether that's tackle or guard, right? They're moving within the entire group. So they're taking reps at guard, they're taking reps at tackle, they're taking reps on the left and on the right. And when you do that, it doesn't allow a guy to truly settle in and get his feet planted in one spot and learn a spot. So when he's called upon, it's just like riding a bike. And that's how it was with Ted, and that's how it was with Campion. I mean, there were obviously swing players that had to learn multiple roles. That's the life of it, right? Like there's some guys that have to do that. That's their role on the team. But at some point, guys need to learn a spot, and that's been, to me, Jordan Morgan's biggest issue, right? And that's what we believe is the biggest question mark kind of going into this is Jordan Morgan going to be able to do the job at left tackle? Well, he hasn't really been given the best circumstances to do that and prove that over his first few years as a Green Bay Packer. So to me, that would be why we're kind of seeing some of these things. Sean Ryan's another great example. We just signed him to be a center, but he's been a guard for the last 4 years or 3 years, whatever it's been. So, like, that's kind of what I'm getting at here is you need to give guys opportunities to be in a position to learn that position. And you're never going to master a position, but to be as good as you can at that position. So, like I said, when you're called upon to go in and it's your opportunity, you can shine and you can play well and you can maintain a standard. And that's kind of where I see this as. And versatility is good. Don't get me wrong. And that's what Goody says. We want these guys to play multiple positions. But at some point, I will still always say that it becomes a negative for some guys because they never are able to get truly comfortable at one spot.
In 2008, Aaron Rodgers was sacked 34 times. In 2009, he was sacked 50 times.
There we go. Yeah.
2012, he was sacked 51 times. So way to go. That was,
I fractured my hip in like week 6, so or 7, whatever it was. So I wasn't a part of that the entire time. I'm sure I had my hand in it, but not the entire time.
Means you still played 5 games. Right? Anyway, all right.
I mean, I don't know what I did. It might have been week 8. It might have been week 9. I don't remember. It was against the Cardinals. It was against the Cardinals at home. I fractured my hip.
And I'm sorry for bringing up the memory. Truly, I am. Mike in Madison has our next question. Let's move on from the offensive line here for a moment. Or actually, it's kind of related to that. It's draft related from Mike. He texts in, I would love to know what percentage of a vote LaFleur has when it comes to draft picks. It seems like Goody is the brains behind every draft pick. Is that true? We can ask Jason that same question when he comes back. But Brian, from your insights from playing in the league as long as you did, do you know how this works? Like how much say the head coach has in which guys are selected versus the general manager, and if it varies team to team?
It's a good question. And as far as I know and how it's been in Green Bay, it comes down to the GM. It was always Ted. Ted made the decision. He would get, from what I know, would get the input and the feedback from, he would gather information from everyone, from the head coach, from the position coaches, from the scouts. I mean, he would gather all the information, right? Like, and that's what they're supposed to do. But at the end of the day, the GM's making the call. The head coach could go to the table for a certain guy, and the GM may go, well, I don't want that guy. I'm going here. So to me, the draft picks are the GM's job. That's their main job, roster building. That is the biggest And it shows you how they're performing, because it's how those draft picks then do to help your team and build your team from the draft standpoint. And Green Bay's always been a draft and develop team, even though we've seen some big trades or free agency moves in the past, 4 years more than we saw under Ted. They are a draft and develop team. That's how they've been able to, in my opinion, be so successful for so long, is because you are drafting good players, developing them into really good players, and then retaining those good players and not having to pay a premium on the market for that same player that may not be as good in your system or your scheme or in Green Bay or whatever it may be, may not fit. That is why, in my opinion, Green Bay has been so good. But at the end of the day, that comes down to, it's the GM. The GM makes the call. And especially in Green Bay, this isn't Andy Reid, or this isn't maybe Belichick, how Belichick used to do it. This isn't that. This is how Green Bay's done things forever, and the GM makes the call. Ron Wolf made the call. If I had to bet any amount of money on it, it was probably, it's up to Ron. Ron makes the final decision. And then it was Ted. Ted makes the final decision. Does not matter. And I'm assuming it is the exact same, even with the power structure changing, the triangle, whatever they call it now, the pyramid, whatever.
Silos.
It's probably
the silos.
Yeah, the silos. It is probably 100% Goody, 100%.
We'll see if we can get some more insight in that from Jason when he returns from Brian Gutekunst's press conference. One more before we go to the commercial break here. This is from Adam in the Berg. Would Jesse be this chippy at Bulaga if they were in person? I feel like this is a little keyboard warrior syndrome that Jesse has towards him. Iowa jokes, now fat jokes. What's with this guy?
That's a great question, Adam. I would assume probably not as much. I don't think he would be as chippy in person. If I had to take a guess, he'd probably be a lot more personable and maybe keep those jokes down. The fat jokes, I don't know why he's getting after me with fat jokes. That's a great question.
So for the record, that wasn't an intended fat joke at the top of the show. Jason was asking about remodeling the office because he moved into a new office at a football stadium near you in Green Bay, and I simply said I like moving stuff around. You brought up the cushions on the chairs in the offensive line. I said, well, it would have been nice if you were moving the cushions around so you weren't breaking the same one down every week. I didn't intend for that to be a fat joke.
But that's what it certainly came off as, because you said you were ensuing that I should be doing that at the house now. I should be moving the cushions and furniture around so that
it'd be nice to mix it up a little bit is all.
I've lost close to 100 pounds. I don't understand what those jokes are intended for, who they're intended. It can't be me. It certainly can't be me.
I will answer Adam's question by saying this. We've ran into each other in person a handful of times at the draft last year, where I bought those souvenir golf balls from the draft, which was a great purchase. Still have them. I'm going to putt with them tomorrow when I'm out in the league. And then we saw each other at the tailgate tour a couple of years ago, and the answer is yes. I'm a lot nicer in person than I am when we're separated by a full time zone, and he can't reach out and deck me in the face if I say something mean to him. So yeah, entirely, I would be nicer to him if he was here. Keep him coming. 844. Go ahead.
But the golf ball thing, still, I had to get after you for the golf ball thing. There's no way I couldn't let that one slip.
I hope fans in Pittsburgh buy themselves a great NFL draft souvenir golf ball this week, and they have a grand old time when they attend it Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And I don't care what Bryan Bulaga or anyone else said. I think I still have it here. I might go get it next segment. Jason should return from Brian Gutekunst's pre-draft press conference. We'll break down what the GM had to say. That's all straight ahead. Wilde and Bulaga, hopefully, comes back next here on Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Mark Tosher here, and I know which beverage I'm selecting with my top pick in the draft, and that is the Blue Mountains and the cool, refreshing taste of an ice-cold Coors Light. Well, at a baseball game in Milwaukee, at a bar down the road, or hanging out watching a game at home, every experience goes from good to great with Rocky Mountain Cold Coors Light. Coors Light is brewed with a 3-step cold process, cold lager, cold filtered, and cold packaged, so it's actually made to chill. The mountains on Coors Light's cold-activated bottles and cans, they turn blue when they're chilled to perfection, which, besides the refreshing taste, is my favorite thing about drinking Coors Light. Refreshingly cold and only 102 calories, Coors Light is made to chill. Make an ice-cold Coors Light your top draft pick. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
You're listening to 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Chevy trucks have you covered when the road takes you from smooth sailing to Chevy Colorado will eat up some of the toughest terrains with 5 available drive modes. And Silverado and Silverado HD have the muscle to take you out for some serious. With multiple engine options and impressive towing, while Silverado EV is the perfect combo of performance and capability. Nice. Making it a snap to hitch up this electric truck and hit the road. Wherever the road leads, Chevy trucks are right there with you. See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Wisconsin weather doesn't ease into spring. It keeps you guessing. That's why your windows and doors need to handle everything. At Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, we build for year-round comfort. Now get 0% interest until 2030. That's years of no interest, so you can upgrade now and pay over time. Plus, enjoy a free in-home consultation, expert installation, and a 10-year limited warranty. But order by April 30th. Schedule today at PellaWI.com.
This update sponsored by UW Credit Union. For every stage of life, UW Credit Union is here for every you. Every Sunday home game, April through August, kids ages 14 and under have an opportunity to meet and receive an autograph from a Brewers player, alumni, and or a Brewers personality. Thanks to eFruity. Autographs are limited to 1 per child. Join UW Credit Union at uwcu.org. Insured by NCUA.
This is Coach Greg Gard. Strong teams succeed with the right partners. Bank CMG works closely with Wisconsin business owners, offering local insight, modern tools, and honest guidance you can trust. They take the time to understand your goals and help you build something sustainable. Whether you're managing cash flow, planning for growth, or navigating change, having the right banking partner matters. When your business matters, your bank should too. BankCMG.com.
Hey Madison IKEA fans, great news! IKEA is now closer than ever with our brand new pickup point at the University Bookstore on State Street. Order your favorite IKEA products online and pick them up as soon as the next day, absolutely free for IKEA family members. That's right, no shipping fees or waiting for deliveries, just the IKEA style you know and love, ready when you are. Start shopping smarter at IKEA.us or the IKEA app and choose the University Bookstore pickup point. Don't forget to sign up for IKEA Family. It's free to join and gives you access to great deals, rewards, and free Madison pickup.
Hey, it's Riley Yauk. Stay in the know on area high school sports and follow ESPN Madison on social media for Prep Mania on Deck, each week's preview for the top games and events. Prep Mania on Deck is brought to you by Zimbrick Honda, a proud supporter of high school sports and local communities.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
Brian Gutekunst is done talking in the newly renovated, formerly known as the team meeting room, now the media auditorium. It took me a while, Bryan Bulaga, but I did get in a question about Zach Tom. I believe this is the first time he has confirmed that Zach Tom did undergo surgery on his knee. Said that he fought like heck to be able to play late in the season, but obviously that did not happen. He told us at locker room cleanout that he had a partially torn patellar tendon, and he had said that he thought it would be a 6-month recovery. So if he had the surgery in, say, early February, that would have him theoretically back in early August. So I'm guessing he won't be doing much of anything here during the offseason program and OTAs and minicamp. But I kind of phrased the question this way to Goody, like, we talk so much about losing Micah Parsons and losing Tucker Kraft, and rightfully so. But they played he got hurt in the Denver game just like Micah Parsons did. And you can say that, and I think Goody was actually wrong. I think they played Jordan Morgan there, not Darian Kennard there after he went out. And he had said Darian Kennard, who they do have back and is an option. But they missed him, and they missed him a lot. And when you don't have your best offensive lineman, that does matter. And I know, Goody doesn't want to be making it sound like he's got a bunch of bums behind him, but he's different. He's paid differently for that exact reason, right?
Yes.
And so my question for you, given how much of the tape of that offensive line you watched, how different of an offensive line is this when they have Zach Tom versus when they don't?
I mean, it's much more complete. It's more balanced. You're able to do different things schematically from pass protection. You're able to do different things schematically from the run game. And I think you see from the group a little bit more sense of calm, because I think he's a calming presence for them as well, because of his ability, kind of probably his confidence and his leadership in himself, his confidence in himself, but then his leadership within the group. I think that brings a sense of calmness to the rest of the guys, that you have that guy out there and he's going to handle his business and take care of what he needs to do. Listen, there's confidence in the quarterback when you have your guy out there, right? I mean, it makes the quarterback feel better. It allows the quarterback to feel like he's got that extra half second if he's looking over to his left, and that's now technically his blind side, that he's got that extra half second to deliver a strike. So, there's a lot of things that look better when he's out there. So, hopefully that timetable is accurate and he's on that timetable, and once mid to late training camp comes around, he's back up to, you could say full speed or close to full speed, however you want to call it, because it's going to take a little while to get back into the swing of things for sure.
So your ACL tears were, and I know that he doesn't have an ACL tear. He has the patellar tendon. But your ACL tears were in 13, right, during family night? And then 17?
Yep.
Okay. Boy, no wonder that 17 season went down the tubes in a hurry. You lost your quarterback to a broken collarbone and you to a torn ACL. How did that impact the following training camp for you? Because this applies not just to Zach Tom, but it applies to Tucker Kraft. It doesn't really apply to Micah Parsons because, I don't know what their plan will be. I'm guessing they'll take him off PUP late in camp so he can get some work, but he said it himself. He's not targeting the opener. But those three guys are similar in their timelines, meaning they're not going to have a typical healthy training camp. How did that impact you, and how much of a concern is that?
Yeah, so my first one in 2013, because I tore it in training camp, I had essentially a full year to rehab that knee. So I was back in doing OTAs the following year in 14. They introduced me into team drills and things like that in 2014, coming back from that ACL. So my training camp really wasn't too affected that first year. Now, the second one, since I tore that ACL in 17, I think right in the middle of the season, that one impacted my training camp. So I started on PUP and I was doing stuff off to the side for a long time of that. And I felt a little bit rusty. There's no doubt. I felt a little bit rusty for the first few weeks of the season. And because that one wasn't a full year recovery. I
Right.
didn't have that. I had to kind of push that rehab as hard as I could and move timetables up myself, because I didn't think sitting out the first 6 games was ever an option, right? Like that wasn't going to be an option for me. Like, you're going to miss the first 6 games. So that second one, definitely, I paced it different and I approached the rehab different because I went through it the second time. But in the same light, because I didn't get those training camp reps early on and I didn't get OTA reps early on, I didn't have that time to really settle myself and
Right.
get my technique and all that dialed in when you normally get those things dialed in.
All right, Jesse has generously agreed to give up Whoa Nelly so we can hear Goody's answers to my 2 questions. There were a lot of questions about process without a first-round pick, so we'll get into that coming up, and then we'll try and close up shop with a couple of other important things he talked about. Jesse and his golf balls. The most
we were talking about those while you were gone.
You can probably get those. You can probably get those for like $1 at Goodwill right about now.
I just realized the yellow one doesn't even say Green Bay on it. The white one does. The yellow one doesn't even say Green Bay. It just has the draft logo.
Yeah, remind me not to count on Jesse to be purchasing any items as an investment for future value as memorabilia. Bryan Bulaga is our cousin sub of the day for Tausch. More next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
At Associated Bank, we know it's not always fun thinking about saving. You know what is fun? Not thinking about it. That's why we call it automated savings. You save automatically. How much you want, how often you want, for whatever you want. And if you don't know how much to save, well, that's why we're here. We'll suggest an amount so you hit your target without ever thinking about it. See, saving can be fun, especially when it's automatic. At Associated Bank, we get you. That's why we've got you. Learn more at associatedbank.com/YouGotThis. Member FDIC.
Imagine the peace of mind knowing your home or business is safe 24/7. I'm Jeffrey Beckman, president of J&K Security Solutions, and we provide security you can trust. Serving Madison and southern Wisconsin, J&K Security Solutions offers state-of-the-art home and business security systems tailored to your needs. From video surveillance to home and business automation, to find out how J&K Security can help secure what matters most in your life, visit jksecurity.com.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
Experience, knowledge, and results. That's what really matters when you need help after a serious truck accident. You'll need a lawyer experienced in fighting and winning for people just like you. Gruber Law Offices has the resources, strong track record of success, and a team of experienced lawyers to take care of your needs. We've successfully helped people injured in big truck accidents for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Ben Brust here for the Princeton Club. If you're looking for your better tomorrow, you know where to go. It's the Princeton Club. If you're looking to grow, it's also the Princeton Club, because they will cheer for you in all areas of your life. The best way to do that is to start a foundation of having a healthy body, and your growth will start from there. With the cleanest health clubs in Wisconsin, they provide everything for you to reach your goals. Start your better tomorrow today and grow in all areas of your life at the Princeton Club. Join for a better tomorrow.
The sound of summer is on ESPN Madison.
Mizarowski to pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Madison's home of the Brewers.
To high drive. Fair and gone.
Catch every Milwaukee Brewers game this season on 100.5 ESPN.
Watching it sail. It's a grand slam.
Brewers baseball on ESPN Madison is presented by Hard Rock Casino Rockford and brought to you by Canopy Wealth Management and the Metro family of auto dealers.
Game day in my house is everything. I get out of class, I grab my gear, and get to the game because I can't wait. And my dad, he does the same thing. He's an official here in Wisconsin. He makes the tough calls, stays cool under pressure, and knows ball like nobody else. I want to be just like him. You can too. Sign up at highschoolofficials.com.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Chris McIntosh is out, but don't flinch.
If he doesn't want to be the athletic director, that's great. Using one of my old slogans, you don't flinch.
Find Barry Alvarez's full interview with Wilde and Tausch, available on the ESPN Wisconsin app and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Let's hear a little bit from Brian Gutekunst and his Q&A session with reporters, including myself. He did say at one point that he really likes his depth. Now, I understand.
What?
He's not going to say, yeah, we're our depth sucks. Yes or no,
lie
Brian?
About it though.
you like their depth across their roster? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. Just want to make sure I wasn't crazy. So I think it was interesting, and we'll get to before we run out of time. He did acknowledge that they need to add at corner, but he feels really good about his top three. But there was a lot of talk about process without having a first round pick, and so and he made it sound like he's not doing anything different. And I wanted to ask, because so much of what they do is based on their evaluations of guys when they come out in the draft, and that's where they get all the information on these guys as the baseline for them. So I asked him about that. Here's how Goody handled that question.
Goody, do you have to stay true to that process too? Because all the times you've signed a guy or acquired a guy, you always go back to, hey, we really liked him coming out.
Mhm.
Like, is that a bedrock of how you evaluate guys?
Yeah, Jason, absolutely. I mean, everything's, the lifeblood, everything starts with these guys coming out of college. This is where our players come from. We spend we're very intense about that process and understanding it, because that does carry over quite a bit. So certainly guys change as they get into our league, and they get better or worse, but a lot of the information we gather right now is stuff we'll be using 3, 4, 5 years from now on these players.
Which is why they don't just get to take Thursday off, right? I mean, it's why they prepared for these guys. And now, are they going to be able to put together a package to go up into the first round if they want to? Again, they have some assets next year if they want to use them, but you don't want to use next year's two and this year's two. This isn't draft day where you're trading your 3 second-round picks for the 6th overall pick to Jacksonville and that young GM. But, he did say that if there's a guy that early in the second round that they like, that they want to go up to get, he thinks he has the ammunition to do it. But Brian, the issue there is how high can you go? He also said he wants to show enough discipline that if he can stay at 52 and get a good player, who he said does not have to have an immediate impact. Going back to a question we were talking about earlier, this feels like a really big crapshoot. And I know every draft is, but based on where they are, the lack of a first-round pick, it's going to be really interesting these next few days.
Yeah, I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze to go up into round one with where they're at and what they're going to have to give up to go do that, right? I mean, we're already having this we're already talking about how this is kind of an issue without a first-round pick this year. So if you start leveraging assets for next year to move up in this year, I don't know if it's worth it, right? Like, and I get that he said that he loves his depth, but if If that is the case, then you don't feel like you need to do that, right? Like that's how
Great point.
That's how you truly feel. So, I'm not sure that we'll see that move, right? I mean, I know he's talking about the discipline of not to do that and wait to hold on to if there's a player that they like at 52, but I just don't know if it's worth it, right? Like to leverage now future years. I just don't think I just don't see him doing it.
Right. And for instance, he was asked about Malik Willis and talked about how he's, rooting for him to play a lot and play well because that obviously affects that compensatory pick. And the max you can get is a third-round pick. Well, you don't know that. You don't know you're going to get a third-round pick for him. You have no idea how his season is going to go. You know what his contract is, but you can't just be sitting there going, all right, well, we're going to have an extra third next year. You have no idea if that's the case. All right, the other question, even after your guy, Jason Whalers, as you call him, called for 2 more questions, I did push the envelope because we hadn't asked about Zach Tom. So here is what Brian Gutekunst had to say about the latest in the line of great right tackles in Green Bay.
You mentioned Zach. We talked so much about not having Micah and not having Tuck. You didn't have him after Denver either.
Yeah.
He said to us at locker room cleanout he wasn't sure if he was having surgery. Did he, A, have surgery, and B, how much did you miss him not having it?
Yeah, he did, and he's doing well. Zach's a good player. He's a really good player, and he's a very experienced player. And whenever I felt we were very adequate there when Kennard stepped in, and we have a number of bodies that can go play tackle. But whenever you lose guys like Zach Tom, you have to adjust, and I thought we did a nice job of doing that. But fortunate for him, he'll be ready to roll as we get going. And I give him a lot of credit, man. He fought his tail off to try to finish it out, and I'm very, very appreciative of that.
Yeah, again, last season,
clear audio in that auditorium, man. That's beautiful, brand new digs. Well done.
Yes, I'm glad you enjoyed that. And maybe he is right about Darian Kennard, because I forgot that they also had to play Jordan Morgan at right guard a ton because they lost their center and had to move the right guard to center. This is exactly what you worry about, right, when it comes to the offensive line, is that not only can you not afford injuries, but they lost 2 starters during the course of the season, and then they had to move 2 other guys to different spots. And it was just, this is exactly why you want to have depth, that you have a guy that's able to step in right away and play at a high level. And he can say that they were adequately prepared, but they just weren't. I mean, let's be honest. I want to get into, before we go, I do want to talk about the corner position and what he said there. We'll do that to wrap things up with Bryan Bulaga as our cousin sub of the day. It's Wilde and Tausch.
We're on the Badgers.
The bottom line on it is you're going into a monster season.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
And now there's more change, more things that aren't stable than there ever has been before.
This is 100.5 ESPN.
Mark Tauscher here for Pizza Hut, and when you look around right now, everything seems to be extra expensive in the world, except this. Right now, get a large 3-topping pizza for just $10 at Pizza Hut. Try it on Pizza Hut's new hand-tossed crust, crispy and golden outside, soft and fluffy inside, finished with garlic parm seasoning. Available for delivery or carryout. Order today at pizzahut.com or on the Pizza Hut app. Pizza Hut, feed good times, and remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute.
This Badger Minute brought to you by the ESPN Wisconsin app. Your state, your teams, your ESPN. Available in the Apple and Android app stores. Download the ESPN Wisconsin app today. With this Badger Minute, I'm Jesse Nelson. It's looking like a loaded non-conference slate for Wisconsin volleyball in 2026. We now know the Badgers will feature at least 3 rematches set from last year's NCAA tournament in the first month of the season. A Final Four rematch at the AVCA First Serve Showcase in Milwaukee against Kentucky. An Elite 8 rematch with Texas in Austin. And as part of the opening Spike Classic in Pittsburgh, not only a Sweet 16 rematch against Stanford, but also a showdown with the Pitt Panthers, who reached the Final Four last season and have been one of the winningest best programs in the country over the last 5 years.
Wisconsin weather is unpredictable. Your windows shouldn't be. Upgrade with Pella and get 0% interest until 2030. Order by April 30th at PellaWI.com.
Chevy trucks have you covered when the road takes you from smooth sailing to Chevy Colorado will eat up some of the toughest terrains with 5 available drive modes. And Silverado and Silverado HD have the muscle to take you out for some serious with multiple engine options and impressive towing. While Silverado EV is the perfect combo of performance and capability, making it a snap to hitch up this electric truck and hit the road. Wherever the road leads, Chevy trucks are right there with you. See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
Bo here from Ridgetop Exteriors. Southern Wisconsin got hit hard with hail recently. If your home took a beating, now's the time to take action. We've been delivering top quality roofing, siding, and window services locally for over 23 years. With free damage assessments and insurance experts on staff, we've been your licensed, local, and trusted contractor since day one. Don't wait until small damage becomes a big problem. Turn to Ridgetop Exteriors today. RidgetopExteriors.com. That's RidgetopExteriors.com.
Ridgetop Exteriors.
Discover the all-new TPC Wisconsin, Madison's premier destination for families, women, and golfers of all levels. Fresh off a stunning $30 million transformation, TPC Wisconsin offers more than championship golf. Enjoy a welcoming community with tennis, pickleball, a world-class golf academy, swimming, fitness, and family-friendly activities all year long. Experience the newest TPC golf club in the world right here in Madison. Visit tpcwisconsin.com to explore memberships and schedule your tour today.
Get ready, Wisconsin. The Sugar River Fire and Smoke Barbecue Festival is bringing the heat to historical Paoli this fall. Presented by renowned pitmaster and TV personality Michelle Wallace and hosted by 7 Acre Dairy Company. Enjoy incredible barbecue from acclaimed pitmasters and local legends, plus live music, barbecue demonstrations, and more all weekend long, September 19th and 20th in Paoli, Wisconsin. Get your tickets now at fireandsmokebarbecuefestival.com.
Is your computer so slow you can hardly use it? Does it have blue screens, malware, viruses, reboots, hardware crashes? Sound familiar? Computers will have problems, and when they do, you need the computer experts at Madison Computer Works. Every day we help home users and businesses keep their computers and networks running smoothly. For solutions to your computer problems, call the pros at 231-8000, and we'll turn this into this. Madison Computer Works. Computers that work for you.
Brewers baseball is back.
Bowers a drive to right. It's way back and gone.
Tune in all season right here on 100.5 ESPN, Madison's home of the Brewers.
Wrapping things up with Bryan Bulaga, our cousin sub of the day, cousin subs. We believe in better. All right, you know what? We've covered the cornerback position plenty today, and the reality is that Goody feels good about his top 3, but he acknowledged they need to add more. So apparently he doesn't feel great about his depth everywhere. Jesse, tell me more about this. He played at Iowa, right? He's an Iowa guy?
Jennings Dunkers?
Feel like he'd have been better for a Quick Trip deal, but they spell Quick Trip differently in Iowa.
They do. He does prefer a blue-roofed establishment that sells lots of scoopies of ice cream. He's
custard.
An influencer on social media. Not only does he fit a need for the Packers, but it seems like he would be a natural fit as both an Iowa guy and a guy who loves him a Butterburger. What do you know about him, Bryan Bulaga? And is it realistic that he could go to the Packers in the second round or beyond?
I mean, it's realistic that he could go, right? Like, but I just if he falls to 52, I think he'll be an early 2, in my opinion. I think he'll be an early 2 and not a late 2. But what I know about him is that he's most likely a guard type player. He played tackle at Iowa, but I think he's going to be a very good guard in the NFL. I think he moves well. He's a strong kid. He's tough. I got to sit and watch film with him when I was up at Iowa a few years ago and got to see how he interprets the game and talk to him and things like that. So I really like him as a player. I think he's going to have a nice NFL career. I just don't think he'll be there for Green Bay. And if he is there for Green Bay, I'm not sure they're going to address offensive line with the second pick. I just don't know if that's going to be the route they go. Would I like them to do that? Because I think that injects an instant starting quality player at the position, and it injects competition right away. So would I like the pick? Yeah, I would. I would like it a lot, but I just don't see his availability being there, and two, I don't see them going in that direction.
Did you guys eat Butterburgers while you were watching film or no?
No Butterburgers were consumed.
Okay.
That's why he's got such a good-looking figure right now, Jason, because he's been avoiding that kind of stuff the last couple of years, huh?
That's true, and that's why he doesn't need to replace his mattress all the time. Although we have friends at Steinhoffel's who could do that for him. All right, Brian.
Old Slim.
We appreciate you stepping in to the breach with Tausch out as our cousin sub of the day. We won't bother you tomorrow. I wouldn't rule out the possibility that if you don't have another member guest to play in on Friday, we might need to call you again. Okay. So you and Jesse can negotiate that. You can figure out how Jesse's going to be nicer to you moving forward. But we appreciate you filling in today. And I'll talk to you at least on Thursday on the Homer Hour. Thanks, buddy.
Yep. All right, guys. I appreciate it. It's fun as always.
I'll send you one of these golf balls if you want to join us on Friday.
Yeah, gee, that's a motivator.
I'm good. I'm good. I don't need one of those.
That's it for us today. Rich Eisen is next. Thanks for coming along for the ride. Have a great day. Take care. Be good.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin? Commercial-free full show podcast.